Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales. Chapter 425. They know what's good for them. After the two grand elders left, Yin Yuanming laughed. Those who know what's good for them will live longer than others. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed coldly. Once the Zheng and Wang families left, only the Dong and Lu families were left. The Dong family was no longer a concern and wouldn't be able to survive for long. As for the Lu family, they were more difficult to deal with. But they were just difficult to deal with. Soon, Qin Die sent over a portal. Qin Feiyang didn't stay any longer and opened the portal and left quickly. Yin Yuanming immediately prepared to auction the elixirs. Central City. In front of a huge mansion, Qin Feiyang appeared out of thin air. This was the mansion of the mansion master. When the four guards at the door saw Qin Feiyang, they immediately greeted him with a smile. "Brother Qin, what wind blew you here today?" This was a famous person in the spiritual state. Most importantly, they all knew that Qin Feiyang and Ren Wushuang had a very good relationship. Therefore, the four guards didn't dare to be negligent at all. Qin Feiyang smiled politely and asked, "Is the mansion master here?" One of the guards said, "Yes, do you want me to take you there?" Qin Feiyang smiled, "Then I'll have to trouble you." Following behind the guard, Qin Feiyang entered the mansion and walked along a corridor towards the depths of the mansion. Along the way, he chatted with the guard. The mansion was very big. Half an hour later, the two of them arrived in front of a courtyard. In the courtyard, on the left was a vegetable garden that was dozens of meters wide. The green vegetables were exuding vitality. On the right was a pond that was about 100 feet wide. From time to time, a small fish would jump out of the water, sparkling. Beside the pond, there was a two-story wooden building. This place was simple, plain, and quiet. At this moment, the mansion master was sitting beside the pond, holding a fishing rod and fishing leisurely. The guard cupped his hands and said, "Mansion master, Qin Feiyang requests an audience." The mansion master looked up at Qin Feiyang and said, "Go in by yourself." Qin Feiyang pushed the door open and entered. The guard turned and left. Walking to the mansion master's side, Qin Feiyang looked at the float on the water and smiled, "Senior, you're really relaxed. You've caused so much trouble for me, how can I be relaxed?" The mansion master rolled his eyes. Qin Feiyang was startled, and then he smiled embarrassedly. "Sit." The mansion master. "Okay." Qin Feiyang nodded. But when he looked around, he didn't see any stools or chairs. He sat to the ground. Qin Feiyang was stunned. He had indeed come here to inform the manor head of the situation in Butterfly Valley. But he didn't expect the mansion master to know. Why does Butterfly Valley exist? What's the Forgotten Land? Who is that woman? I won't tell you. But you have to remember, you can't tell anyone else about this. The mansion master said lightly. Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded. The mansion master asked, "Is there anything else?" "Yes. Before Dong Qing challenged me, she said that if she lost, the Dong family would leave the city. Old ancestor Dong and patriarch Dong also agreed at that time. But now, they don't seem to have any intention of leaving." Qin Feiyang frowned. The mansion master said, "You deal with this matter yourself. Also, you have to think of a way to settle the marriage contract between Lu Xingchen and Shuang Er." Qin Feiyang was delighted. Since the mansion master said so, it meant that he wouldn't speak up for the Dong family. But the matter of the marriage contract puzzled Qin Feiyang. He said, "Senior, are you in such a hurry to cancel the marriage contract because of the Lu family's actions?" "Yes. Old Monster Lu came to see me not long ago. He said that Lu Xingchen and Shuang Er are of marriageable age and hope to hold a wedding for them as soon as possible." The mansion master sighed. Qin Feiyang said in disgust, Lu Xingchen's character is really not good. I can't let my sister marry him. I heard about his performance in the sacred temple yesterday. It was indeed very disappointing. Anyway, hurry up and deal with it. As long as the marriage contract is cancelled, I don't care how you torture them. The mansion master said. Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded, got up, opened the portal, and returned to the second alchemy room. Originally, he was worried that the mansion master wouldn't allow him to deal with the Lu family. Unexpectedly, the mansion master was also very dissatisfied with the Lu family. This way, he could do it without any worries. Sitting in the lounge, after pondering for a moment, he took out the image crystal and quickly activated it. After waiting for a while, Fatso's shadow appeared. However, Fatso had changed his appearance. Qin Feiyang asked, how's the investigation? How can it be so fast? Fatso rolled his eyes. Qin Feiyang said, then now, I'll give you another task. What task? Fatso was puzzled. Qin Feiyang said, the mansion master has ordered us to quickly cancel the marriage contract between Ren Wuxuang and Lu Xingchen. Why is the old man suddenly in such a hurry? Fatso was a little stunned. It's because the Lu family is urging the marriage, Qin Feiyang briefly explained the situation. Fatso suddenly said, so it's like this. What do you want Fat Lord to do? Qin Feiyang said, the first step is to ruin Lu Xingchen's image. Do everything possible to make him look bad. The key is to say that he's not worthy of Ren Wuxuang. What about the second step? Fatso asked. When the time is up, I'll tell you. Qin Feiyang said with a smile. Alright, this kind of small matter is easy. Just wait for a good show. Fatso laughed and the shadow quickly dissipated. A good show? I don't have the time. Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled. He kept the image crystal and entered the castle to continue copying the battle symbol formula. He had already copied half of the seventh stroke. He estimated that he would be able to complete it in a month. When the time comes, he would be able to break through to the 4-star combat emperor realm. The third day, the Zheng and Wang families migrated. Even the disciples of the two families in the sacred temple and the inner palace left the city. They had thought it through thoroughly. As long as one of them stayed in the city, it would be impossible to live in peace. The higher-ups of the sacred temple and the inner palace had also guessed the reason for the departure of the two families' disciples. But the disciples of the two families left voluntarily. They couldn't force them. On the same day, the Precious Treasure Pavilion also lifted the ban on the two families. The fourth day, the Precious Treasure Pavilion auctioned the Scarlet Fire-colored glass pill in the 4 major districts at the same time, causing a huge sensation. On the 5th day, the potential pill was auctioned. Countless people fought over it. The 6th day, a piece of news spread like wildfire in the city. The news said, Lu Xingchen was a wicked hypocrite. Not only was he sinister and cunning, his methods were also very vicious. He often plotted against others and beat up the servants of the Lu family. And he was very lecherous. To the extent that it made people's hair stand on end. The maids of the Lu family were basically all bullied by him. But because of Lu Xingchen's identity, whether it was the maids or the servants, they could only swallow their anger. Moreover, under Lu Xingchen's despotic power, these maids and servants still had to protect his good image in front of outsiders. There was even one time when a maid was pregnant with his child. Lu Xingchen was afraid that it would affect his future, so he cruelly killed the maid. That was a baby with 2 lives. This kind of sanctimonious scum who abandoned his wife was not worthy of a proud daughter of heaven like Ren Wuxuang. When this news came out, it could be said to be a shocking thunder that set off a huge uproar in the city. Many people only now knew that Lu Xingchen was engaged to the granddaughter of the mansion lord. In the Lu family's meeting hall. Bastard! What a bastard! Who is the one who started this rumor? Patriarch Lu flew into a rage, smoke coming out of his 7 orifices. Although Lu Xingchen was proud and arrogant, until now, he had never even touched a woman's hand. Now, a baby with 2 lives? Who was so fucking wicked? Patriarch, now is not the time to be angry. You have to quickly clarify and not let this matter continue to fester. Steward Lu stood below, his face full of anger and worry. If this matter was not suppressed, not only would the world believe it, but even the mansion lord would believe it. By then, the mansion lord would probably not agree to the marriage between Lu Xingchen and Ren Wuxia. Yes. Quickly announce to the public that this is a rumor deliberately made up by someone. At the same time, send someone to investigate it. You must find the person who spread the rumor. I want to tear him into pieces and burn his bones to ashes. Patriarch Lu roared. Yes. Steward Lu responded respectfully and immediately turned to leave. However, even if the Lu family clarified in time, they could not stop the rumor from spreading. As for the person who spread the rumor, the Lu family had no clue at all. The news spread more and more fiercely. Soon, it fell into the ears of Lu Xingchen and Ren Wuxia. Without a doubt, Lu Xingchen was furious to the extreme. He immediately sent a message to Patriarch Lu, telling him to find the person who spread the rumor no matter what. Ren Wuxia was full of doubts. Who was the one who spread the rumor? Was it Qin Feiyang? But this cheap brother of hers didn't know about her engagement with Lu Xingchen? Before the first wave had subsided, another wave arose. On the day of the temple's great gathering, the head of temples personally ordered that Shi Ming be removed from his position as Marshall Hall's law enforcement elder, and replaced by Yan Nanshan. Shi Ming was demoted to deacon elder, and sent to the inner hall to do odd jobs. Odd jobs included a lot of things. For example, receiving disciples who had just arrived in the inner hall, being in charge of the cleanliness of the inner hall, and running errands for the inner hall disciples. It could be said that this was a servant's errand. Of course, Shi Ming was unwilling to do such a thing. He went to the head of temples to reason, but the head of temples sent him away with a single sentence. If he did not want to do odd jobs, then leave the temple. When Shi Ming went to the inner hall, Wolf King and Fatso could not continue their investigation, so they focused on vilifying Lu Xingchen. Everyone in the Lu family only did one thing every day. And that was to go around to clarify the rumor. But even so, more and more people believed in it. Of course, there were also people who suspected that it could be an enemy of the Lu family, who wanted to harm the Lu family. But the Lu family had made too many enemies in the continent's capital, so no one could be sure of who it was. Time flew by. A month passed. Inside the ancient castle, Qin Feiyang's arm paused. The 7th stroke of the battle character art suddenly shot out a dazzling ray of light. His aura also rose crazily. Finally, it stopped at 4-star Combat Emperor. When I finish the 8th and 9th strokes, I will be able to break through to 6-star Combat Emperor. I am only 3 levels away from Battle Master. Phew. Very soon. Qin Feiyang let out a long breath, closed the 6-word divine formula, and turned to look at Lu Hong and the pangolin. 10 days ago, Lu Hong had finally recovered to 1-star Combat King, and was now working hard to catch up with Fatso. But the pangolin situation made him feel helpless. 8 months had already passed, and this guy still had not broken through to 5-star Combat King? Chapter 426. Withdrawing his gaze, Qin Feiyang took out the image crystal and sent a message to Fatso. After the virtual image appeared, Fatso immediately asked, "Boss, what's up? Come back first." After Qin Feiyang finished speaking, he turned off the image crystal and appeared in the lounge. Soon, Fatso and Wolf King both returned. Then they told him what had happened in the past month in detail. After listening, Qin Feiyang nodded and said, "Well done. What's the second step?" Wolf King was a little impatient. "We'll talk about the second step in the inner hall." With a wave of his hand, Qin Feiyang sent Fatso and Wolf King to the castle and then walked out of the alchemy room. After leaving the alchemy room, he was about to go downstairs. Boom! But suddenly there was a low rumble behind him. He turned his head and saw that the stone door of alchemy room number 1, which had been tightly closed, was open. A white-clothed woman slowly walked out. This woman was about 1.75 meters tall. Her long black hair draped over her shoulders, and her figure was exquisite. However, her appearance was very ordinary. She was the kind of woman who wouldn't attract a second glance when walking in a crowd. In layman's terms, she had a common face. But she had walked out of alchemy room number 1. There was no doubt that she was the legendary Murong Jing. Seeing Qin Feiyang, Murong Jing was slightly taken aback. But she didn't show any emotion, nor did she say a word. After closing the stone door of the alchemy room, she walked past Qin Feiyang. Calm as still water, unperturbed by waves. She really lives up to her name. Qin Feiyang muttered. The two went downstairs one after the other and left the Pill Fire Palace. Gradually, Qin Feiyang was surprised to find that Murong Jing was actually going in the same direction as him. Murong Jing seemed to have noticed this too. She stopped. When Qin Feiyang reached her side, she lifted her foot again and walked side by side with Qin Feiyang. After walking for a while, Murong Jing suddenly asked, "Why didn't you snatch alchemy room 1?" Her voice was like an orchid in an empty valley, making people involuntarily let down their guard. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly, "Alchemy room 2 is enough." Murong Jing pondered for a moment and said, "Are you also going to find Elder Lu?" "Yes." Qin Feiyang nodded. After that, the two of them didn't say a word until they reached Lu Yun's residence. He could see it now. This woman was a bit of a loner and was not good at communicating with others. Lu Yun sat alone in the pavilion with his brows furrowed as though he was thinking about something. Hearing the footsteps, she turned her head to look. When she saw Qin Feiyang and Murong Jing walking over side by side, she couldn't help but be surprised. When did these two little fellows get together? She muttered to herself. "Greetings, Elder Lu." Qin Feiyang and Murong Jing cupped their hands. Lu Yun smiled and said, "Come in." Qin Feiyang pushed open the courtyard's door and let Murong Jing in before he walked in and closed the door. Following that, the two of them walked into the pavilion. Qin Feiyang looked at Elder Lu's expression and asked in puzzlement, "Elder Lu, why are you frowning? Are you troubled by something? I won't hide it from you. Jia Gao and Hishan have been missing for a month. I wonder where they have gone." Lu Yun sighed deeply and frowned again. Qin Feiyang's heart skipped a beat as he glanced at Murong Jing from the corner of his eye. He saw that Murong Jing didn't show any emotion when she heard the news. Suddenly, Lu Yun looked at Qin Feiyang with a glint in his eyes. Qin Feiyang's eyelids twitched as he said, "Elder Lu, don't let your thoughts run wild." Lu Yun said meaningfully, "You know what I'm thinking? I admit that I have a personal grudge with them, but I wouldn't go so far as to kill them." Qin Feiyang said without batting an eyelid. Lu Yun said, "I didn't say that you killed them. Isn't this equivalent to admitting it?" Qin Feiyang was stunned and said helplessly, "All right, whatever you say. Anyway, I'm often the scapegoat, so I don't mind taking one more." Lu Yun rolled his eyes at him and asked, "Why are the two of you looking for me?" "I'm preparing to head to the inner hall." Qin Feiyang and Murong Jing spoke at the same time. The three of them were stunned. After Lu Yun snapped back to his senses, he looked at Murong Jing in surprise and said, "You have also broken through to the War Emperor realm?" "I broke through the day before yesterday." Murong Jing nodded. When Lu Yun heard that, he became melancholic and said, "I didn't expect all of you to go to the inner hall so soon." Qin Feiyang chuckled and said, "Elder, as long as you say the word, I won't go to the inner hall." "Don't talk nonsense." Lu Yun glared at him. "I really don't want to let you go. But there's nothing I can do. Who asked the two of you to be so talented? If I don't let them go, the hall master will definitely come looking for trouble with me." She sighed deeply and asked, "When do you plan to go?" Qin Feiyang smiled and said, "Anytime." "Me too." Murong Jing nodded as well. "All right, I'll send you there immediately. However, Qin Feiyang, I have a few words to say to you." "Murong Jing, leave us for a moment," Lu Yun said. Murong Jing turned around and took a step forward, instantly landing outside the courtyard. Qin Feiyang cupped his hands and said, "Elder, what instructions do you have?" Murong Jing keeps a low profile. "I'm relieved that she's going to the inner hall, but I really can't be at ease with you. Remember what I'm telling you now. If you can endure it, do your best. Don't continue tormenting yourself. Now that you're outside, I have the ability to help you deal with the death of Jia Gao and company. But once you enter the inner hall, I won't be able to help you anymore. Do you understand?" Lu Yun frowned. "I understand." Qin Feiyang nodded. "I hope you really understand. Work hard. I've told you before that the situation in the inner hall is very complicated. Be careful." After Lu Yun said that, he prepared to call Murong Jing over. Qin Feiyang hurriedly said, "Wait. Is there anything else?" Lu Yun frowned. "Elder, please wait a moment." Qin Feiyang smiled mysteriously, opened a teleportation door, and quickly left. In less than a few hundred seconds, he appeared out of thin air. There was a palm-sized jade box in his hand. Qin Feiyang handed the jade box over and said with a smile, "Thank you for your care during this period of time, Elder." "What is it?" Lu Yun took the jade box suspiciously. When he opened it, his eyes immediately lit up. There were 6 pills lying quietly inside. Qin Feiyang said with a faint smile, "Before consuming these pills, ask Uncle Yen first." "All right, I won't stand on ceremony with you." Lu Yun nodded and put it away. He looked at Murong Jing and said with a smile, "Come over quickly." After Murong Jing came over, Lu Yun opened a teleportation door and the three of them walked in one after another. In the next instant, they appeared in the sky above a mountain range. Below, the mountains were stacked and ancient trees towered into the sky. Among them, there were 4 huge peaks that were the tallest. They were more than 10,000 feet tall and were like 4 huge swords that pierced into the clouds. And at the peak of each mountain sat a pitch-black hall that emitted an ancient aura. At the edge of the square outside each hall, there was a 100-meter-tall stone tablet. They were all snow-white and were especially eye-catching. There were a few black words engraved on them. Pillfire Hall. Cultivation Hall. Resource Hall. Martial Arts Treasury. These words were vigorous and powerful, emitting a shocking aura. The 4 huge peaks and 4 halls were like 4 legs of a tripod, standing proudly among the mountains like kings. Qin Feiyang and Murong Jing looked at everything curiously. Lu Yun said with a smile, "This is where you will live in the future." Murong Jing asked, "Elder, are we still in the state capital?" "No." Lu Yun shook his head. "Then what is this place?" Murong Jing was puzzled. This was also a question Qin Feiyang wanted to ask. "Nirvana Mountain Range," Lu Yun said. What? Qin Feiyang turned pale with fright. How could he not know about the Nirvana mountain range? The Nirvana mountain range was adjacent to the Sea of Despair. Back when he left the Sea of Despair and entered the Nirvana mountain range, he was still wandering around the edge half a month later. Therefore, he had experienced the vastness and terror of the Nirvana mountain range. Ren Wuxuang even said that this was the base camp of the beasts in the spiritual state. Even her grandfather did not dare to step in. He never expected that the inner hall would be in such a dangerous place. Don't worry. This is not the central area of the Nirvana mountain range. At most, it is the periphery. Moreover, there are no powerful beasts within 1,000 miles, so your life will not be in danger. But if you leave this area, you will lose your life at any time. You must remember this. Lu Yun reminded. The two nodded. Huh? At this moment, Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. He felt a cold gaze, and there was even a hint of murderous intent. Just as he looked down, a figure rose into the air and landed in front of the three of them. It was none other than Shi Ming. Isn't this Elder Shi? We haven't seen each other for half a month. How have you been? Lu Yun said with a smile. Thanks to you, I am doing very well now. Shi Ming said, gritting his teeth. Is that so? Then I'm relieved. Lu Yun smiled mockingly and turned to Qin Feiyang and Murong Jing. I'm going back. Work hard. Take care, Elder. The two cupped their hands and sent him off. After Lu Yun left, Qin Feiyang looked up at Shi Ming and said with a smile, I feel bad for troubling you to pick us up, Elder. Shi Ming's face darkened as he sneered, the Nirvana mountain range is very dangerous. You better be careful. He did not hide the threat in his words. Thank you for your reminder, Elder. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Murong Jing said, Elder Shi, can you take us to the Pill Fire Palace first? Don't you have eyes? Can't you see that the Pill Fire Palace is there? Go by yourself. Get lost if you don't. Shi Ming shouted, and left with his sleeves folded. Murong Jing frowned but did not say anything. She flew straight to the Pill Fire Palace. Continue being arrogant. Let's see how long you can be arrogant. Qin Feiyang muttered, a cold light flashing in the depths of his eyes. Whoosh! He turned into a streak of flowing light and landed on an uninhabited mountain peak. He called out the Wolf King and said, I've entered the inner hall. Shi Ming will definitely make some movements. You should quickly follow him. Remember, don't let anyone discover you. Chapter 427. Swoosh! Qin Feiyang glanced at Shi Ming's back and flew into the sky. He landed on the square of the Pill Fire Palace like a bolt of lightning. The door of the Pill Fire Palace was tightly shut. It was more than 100 feet tall and an ancient aura could be felt. Qin Feiyang, do you know what grade the alchemy fire in the inner palace is? Murong Jing stood in front of him. Her clothes were fluttering and her hair was dancing in the wind. Although she looked ordinary, the aura she exuded was very eye-catching. I don't know. Qin Feiyang shook his head. 4th grade. Murong Jing said. Her ethereal voice was emotionless. 4th grade. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. The nether devil flame had to devour 3 types of 4th grade alchemy fire to reach the 5th grade. Alchemy fire above the 4th grade would be even rarer. If he snatched the alchemy fire here, he would still lack 2 types, thinking of this. He couldn't help but frown. If he really did that, he would offend the entire sacred palace. By then, he would have nowhere to go in the spiritual state. However, it was imperative to increase the grade of the nether devil flame. It seems like I have to find out more about it after dealing with the Lu and Dong families. Qin Feiyang mumbled. He wouldn't lay his hands on the alchemy fire in the inner palace unless he had no other choice. Rumble. At this moment, the door of the pill fire palace suddenly opened. A middle-aged man walked out. His clothes were as white as snow and he was emitting an ethereal aura. He was the pill hall master. Greetings, hall master. Qin Feiyang and Murong Jing bowed. The pill hall master nodded. He glanced at the two of them and was stunned. He looked at Qin Feiyang in surprise and asked, "You broke through again?" Qin Feiyang smiled embarrassedly, "I'm lucky. I just broke through not long ago." Lucky? The pill hall master was shocked and speechless. He broke through from a 3-star combat emperor to a 4-star combat emperor in a month. Was this luck? This astonishing speed really left people speechless. Suddenly, he glanced behind Qin Feiyang and Murong Jing and frowned, "Where's Shiming? Why didn't he show you the way?" "Elder Shi is busy," Murong Jing said. Qin Feiyang nodded and said, "Yes, Elder Shi is busy with official business. How can we let him lead the way?" The pill hall master looked at their expressions and immediately understood what was going on. This old fellow really didn't know how to repent at all. "Let's go. I'll bring you in." The pill hall master greeted and turned around to enter the pill fire hall. Qin Feiyang and Qin Haodong quickly followed him. Murong Jing said in a low voice, "Are you planning to rob the alchemy room?" "What about you?" Qin Feiyang asked. Murong Jing said, "I can tolerate other things, but not the alchemy room." The meaning of this sentence was very obvious. They had to snatch it. Qin Feiyang shook his head and laughed. Although Murong Jing kept a low profile and didn't talk much, she was a strong woman. The pill fire hall in the inner hall was the same as the pill fire hall in the sacred hall. In the center was a patio. The alchemy room was built around a patio. But there was a difference. There were very few alchemy rooms here. There were only 100 of them. Because only alchemists with level 8 mental strength and above were qualified to enter the pill fire hall. The pill hall master explained as he brought the two of them to the bottom of the patio. The two of them looked up. There were 10 alchemy rooms on each floor. But no one was loitering outside. It was dead silent. Qin Feiyang asked, "Hall master, how many people are here now?" 88 people. Including the two of you, it's exactly 90 people. The pill hall master smiled. So few? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Murong Jing said, "What about the cultivation hall?" The pill hall master said, "Of course there are more people in the cultivation hall than the pill fire hall. I think there are more than 1,000 people. Isn't the difference a little too big?" Qin Feiyang smiled bitterly. As expected. Every alchemist was a rare animal. Murong Jing said, "Are all the inner hall disciples combat emperors?" The pill hall master smiled, "Combat emperors are the basic requirement to enter the inner hall. However, some disciples have already entered combat master." Combat master. Qin Feiyang's gaze flickered. It seemed like he wouldn't be bored in the inner hall in the future. Suddenly, his eyes flashed and he asked, "When I was outside, I heard that there's a chance to enter the imperial capital after entering the inner hall. Is that true?" That was the question he was most concerned about. Murong Jing's calm expression had a slight change at this moment. The pill hall master pondered for a moment and nodded, "That's right. There's a chance to enter the imperial capital. However, it's not that easy. We'll talk about the details later." Qin Feiyang didn't ask further. It was fine as long as he knew there was a chance. As for how difficult it was, he didn't think about it. Because he had to return to the imperial capital. He had no other choice. Even if it was extremely difficult, he had to face it. The pill hall master asked, are there any other questions? Yes. Murong Jing nodded and said, how are the alchemy rooms arranged? The pill hall's hall master was slightly stunned. He looked at Murong Jing and a meaningful smile flashed past his eyes. Same as outside. You can fight for the alchemy rooms with your own abilities. But remember, you can't kill anyone. I have something to deal with. If there's anything you don't understand, look for me in the resource hall. After the pill hall master finished, he left the two of them there irresponsibly and turned around to leave. Fight for it by myself? Qin Feiyang mumbled and his eyes flickered. At the same time, after Murong Jing sent the pill hall master off, she turned around and looked at Qin Feiyang weirdly. What's wrong? Qin Feiyang didn't understand. Murong Jing said, the hall master said not to kill anyone. He should be talking about you. Really? Qin Feiyang pretended to be confused and smiled, actually, I'm very kind. You're kind? Murong Jing's face twitched. She shook her head and said, I really can't tell. Qin Feiyang smiled bitterly. There's a newcomer. Everyone, come out and welcome them. At this moment, a loud voice was heard. Boom! Stone doors opened one after another. Then, figures walked out one after another. Qin Feiyang raised his head and looked over, astonished. Why were they all women? There were more than 30 of them. Some were tall and some were short, some were fat and some were thin. Greetings, senior sisters. Murong Jing bowed to greet them. However, no one answered. They were all looking at Qin Feiyang and Murong Jing curiously. However, Qin Feiyang caught a hint of mockery in their eyes. What was going on? They were all women. Where were the men? He was puzzled. At the same time, he was on his guard. Because the voice that said to welcome them was a man's voice. However, there wasn't a single male disciple. This meant that something was wrong. The welcome ceremony officially begins. Everyone, don't stand on ceremony. The man's voice was heard again. It came from the 10th floor. Bang! As soon as he finished speaking, the stone doors of the other alchemy rooms opened at the same time. White figures dashed out from the alchemy rooms. They were all men. In their hands, they each held a wooden basin that was filled with water. They ran to the edge of the corridor and splashed the water in the wooden basin at Qin Feiyang and Murong Jing without saying a word. Splash! The water poured down like a waterfall. All of this seemed slow, but it all happened in an instant. If Qin Feiyang hadn't been on his guard, he wouldn't have been able to react in time. Whoosh! He grabbed Murong Jing's wrist and retreated like lightning. He entered the corridor behind him and escaped the fate of being drenched. They actually dodged it? Seeing this, the men and women above were a little stunned. Murong Jing was also in a daze. The Pill Fire Palace was dead silent. Qin Feiyang let go of Murong Jing's wrist and glanced at the wet ground. His eyes flashed coldly. This welcome ceremony is quite special. He muttered to himself. It was impossible to tell whether he was happy or sad. Murong Jing finally came to her senses. Her expression didn't change at all. It was as if nothing had happened. The two walked into the courtyard again. However, as soon as they walked in, another waterfall poured down from the 10th floor. Caught off guard, the two of them were immediately drenched. Huh! The people above immediately roared with laughter. This time, it wasn't just Qin Feiyang who changed his face. Even Murong Jing's face was covered with frost. Glancing at the people from the 2nd to the 9th floor, the two's eyes swept directly to the 10th floor. At the railing of the corridor, there were 8 young men and women standing side by side. 4 men. 4 women. The 8 of them looked about 25 or 26 years old. They all looked dignified and had an outstanding temperament. But they looked arrogant. Like high and mighty kings, looking down at Qin Feiyang and Murong Jing. Their faces were also full of ridicule. The 4 men each held a wooden basin in their hands. It was obvious. They were the ones who splashed the water just now. I want to ask, is it interesting to do this? Qin Feiyang glanced at the 8 people with a cold glint in his eyes. Of course it's interesting. The corners of the 8 people's mouths lifted slightly, with a touch of playfulness. Murong Jing suddenly frowned and said, Qin Feiyang, don't you think there's something wrong with this water? Something's wrong? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Smelling it carefully, there was indeed something wrong. This water emitted a faint stench. How is it? Does it smell good? Let me tell you, this is all foot washing water. This is a meeting gift we specially prepared for you. Are you satisfied? Do you want a little more? Haha, the 4 men laughed heartily. The rest of the people were also convulsing with laughter. Foot washing water. Qin Feiyang's face instantly darkened. Murong Jing's expression wasn't much better. Originally, both of them thought that these people were just joking. But they didn't expect it to be foot washing water. You've gone too far. Murong Jing said coldly, the cold air around her was oppressive. On the 10th floor, a blue-haired youth glanced at the other disciples and said with a smile, she said we've gone too far. Do you think we've gone too far? Not at all. The rest of the people shouted. Ha! The blue-haired youth laughed loudly, lowered his head to look at Qin Feiyang and Murong Jing, and the corners of his mouth raised slightly. Let me tell you, this is the rule. Every new disciple has to taste the foot-washing water. In fact, it's a warning. No matter how great you are outside, as long as you come to the inner hall, you have to be obedient. Towards us, your senior brothers and sisters, you must be extremely respectful and listen to our words. And this is the way to survive in the inner hall. Do you understand? Chapter 428. Respectful? Obedient? Qin Feiyang's eyes revealed ridicule, as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. Seeing this, the blue-haired youth frowned and said indifferently, it seems that you are not convinced. Convinced, very convinced. But I would like to ask you, do you know who I am? The corner of Qin Feiyang's mouth rose, looking down on everyone present. Huh, aren't you Qin Feiyang? We have long heard of your rumors. Even Dong Qing was defeated by you. I have to say that you are indeed amazing. But Dong Qing is only an ordinary character in the inner palace. The blue-haired youth crossed his arms and spoke enthusiastically. However, Qin Feiyang suddenly interrupted him and said impatiently, just say what you want to say. The blue-haired youth's eyes flashed coldly, and said, don't you know that interrupting others is very impolite? Polite? Qin Feiyang found it funny. Who was it that splashed water on their feet? Who was it that was so arrogant as to spout nonsense? And now he actually said that he was impolite? As a person, one could not be too cheap. Qin Feiyang glanced at the crowd and said indifferently, are you trying to say that I don't have the right to behave atrociously in the inner palace? At least you know your place. Everyone sneered. Yes, I know my place. But what about you guys? Do you know your place? Do you know what my rule of survival is? Qin Feiyang's gaze gradually turned cold. What? Do you still want to make a move? Let me tell you, one must adapt to the circumstances. Only those who adapt to the circumstances can live longer. Everyone's eyes were filled with ridicule. Threatening me? Qin Feiyang sneered, rose into the air, and floated on the 2nd floor. Clang! The red sword Qi was like a volcanic eruption, with him as the center, rolling in all directions. How dare you? You still dare to make a move? There were 8 disciples on the second floor, all of them were 1-star war emperor. The 8 of them flew into a rage. Streaks of battle chi emerged one after another, and the battle art was manifested. With astonishing momentum, the battle chi blasted toward Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang was surprised to find that they were all high-grade battle arts. However, all of this was in vain. The red sword energy swept through the sky, crushing everything in its path. In an instant. Following a series of painful screams, the 8 of them all collapsed. There were bloody holes on their shoulders and thighs, and blood was spurting out like a fountain. Qin Feiyang's control was quite good. They were only heavily injured and did not take their lives. However, the moment he made his move, everyone was shocked. They had all heard of Qin Feiyang's deeds. However, as the saying goes, seeing is believing and hearing is false. Rumors were generally not credible. Only now did they truly realize how terrifying Qin Feiyang's strength was. Whoosh! Qin Feiyang then flew up to the 3rd floor. There were 10 disciples on the 3rd floor and they were all 1-star battle emperors. Like the 8 people on the 2nd floor, all of them had mastered high-grade battle arts. However, Qin Feiyang's momentum was like a rainbow, and no one could compete with him. Miserable screams echoed in the courtyard and did not dissipate for a long time. There were also 10 disciples on the 4th floor. Moreover, they were all 2-star battle emperors. Qin Feiyang pointed his finger at them, and an invisible force spread out crazily. The first style of the origin returning art, landslide. The 10 of them immediately felt as if a giant mountain was pressing down on them. They instantly fell to the ground and their blood flowed like a river. When the 10 disciples on the 5th floor saw this, their eyes shone with a cold light. They did not wait for Qin Feiyang to fly up and they took the initiative to attack. However, this could not stop the furious Qin Feiyang at all. He went all the way to the 8th floor like a hot knife through butter. The strength of the 10 disciples on the 8th floor had increased by a few times. All of them were 4-star battle emperors, and their cultivation was comparable to Qin Feiyang's. Boom! Battle chi surged. 10 types of battle arts appeared, and a terrifying aura spread out in all directions. Moreover, they were all high-grade battle arts. What's going on? Could it be that everyone in the inner palace has cultivated high-grade battle arts? Qin Feiyang frowned. 10 sword shadows appeared above his head. Following his thoughts, the sword shadows roared in the sky and crushed toward the 10 disciples. The 10 of them were blown away on the spot. Bang! 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 They were like meteorites, crashing into the wall behind them. All of them spat out blood and were greatly shocked. The sword shadows stopped in the void, and their shocking sharpness shocked the entire area. Qin Feiyang glanced at them, and then raised his head to look at the 10 disciples on the 9th floor. Those 10 disciples were also 4-star battle emperors. However, when they saw Qin Feiyang looking at them, they could not help but take a few steps back in fear. Qin Feiyang's eyes were filled with disdain. He raised his head and looked at the 8 disciples with blue hair. "Tell me, what gives you the right to be so arrogant?" He waved his hand, and the 10 sword shadows that stopped in the void suddenly rose into the sky. The sword chi was like a raging wave, slashing toward the 8 disciples. Among them, 3 of the sword shadows were locked onto the blue-haired youth. Because this person was the most arrogant, Qin Feiyang naturally had to take extra care of him. However, facing the attack of the sword shadows, the 8 of them were not as flustered as the others. They looked very calm. It was as if they did not take them seriously at all. A red-haired youth walked out from the crowd. He was about 1.8 meters tall, and his body was tall. His handsome face was stern, and his aura was unfathomable. I would like to see how powerful you are. The red-haired youth's eyes were like lightning, and he raised both of his hands. A ray of battle chi surged out and transformed into a giant mountain, exuding a vigorous aura, and crashed toward the 10 sword shadows. Boom! Clang! Along with a loud sound, the sword shadows kept collapsing. Qin Feiyang's eyes narrowed. This person was actually a 7-star battle emperor, and he had mastered a superior battle art. Puff! In the blink of an eye, the 10 sword shadows were shattered. Qin Feiyang spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face turned pale. Boom! The giant mountain's aura surged as it pressed down on Qin Feiyang. Murong Jing frowned and said, Qin Feiyang, the competition in the Pill Fire Hall is naturally about alchemy. There's no need to fight with them. However, Qin Feiyang turned a deaf ear. His anger had been completely ignited. It was impossible for it to end like this. Whoosh! A shocking wave of fire surged out of his body. The 9-leaf fire lotus was born. The temperature in the Pill Fire Hall instantly soared, as though it had become a huge furnace. Is a 7-star battle emperor that great? He muttered to himself with a sinister smile on his face. A fire lotus leaf fell and shot toward the red-haired youth at lightning speed. Innate power, destroy like breaking dry weeds and smashing rotten wood, explode. Qin Feiyang finished speaking. The fire lotus leaf suddenly exploded. A terrifying wave of flame suddenly roared in this place like a huge wave in the ocean. The red-haired youth and the others were instantly engulfed. In an instant, their flesh was torn open and blood splattered everywhere. He used this move to cripple Dong Qing, who had broken through to the 6-star battle emperor. Facing the 8 great prodigies, not only is he not afraid, he wants to fight to the end. This guy is as crazy as the rumors say. I also heard that when he fought with Dong Qing, he was a 3-star battle emperor. How long has it been since he broke through to the 4-star battle emperor? His cultivation speed is too shocking. I'm afraid the situation in the inner hall will change soon. The dozens of disciples on the floor below couldn't help but discuss. Qin Feiyang, congratulations, you have completely angered us. The blue-haired youth roared. The aura of the 8 people burst out at the same time. 3 5-star battle emperors, 3 6-star battle emperors, and 2 7-star battle emperors. The blue-haired youth was a 7-star battle emperor. Such a lineup was extremely terrifying. However, Qin Feiyang wasn't afraid at all. So what if I angered you? A strong cold light shot out from his eyes. 2 fire lotus leaves whistled and exploded at the same time. Boom! The 3 5-star battle emperors fell to the ground. It was unknown whether they were dead or alive. The 3 6-star battle emperors weren't any better. What a powerful fighting soul. The red-haired youth and the blue-haired youth were also covered with cuts and bruises. Both of their pupils contracted. Although Qin Feiyang was only a 4-star battle emperor, his means were too shocking. The two of them looked at each other and their battle chi surged. 2 colossal beings soared into the air from behind them. Fighting souls? I won't give you a chance. Qin Feiyang mumbled. 4 fire lotus leaves left the ground and shot towards the 2 of them in the blink of an eye. 4 leaves. Don't explode, the 2 of them were immediately frightened. The 3 6-star battle emperors were scared out of their wits. Boom! Qin Feiyang's mind moved and the 4 fire lotus leaves exploded at the same time. 5 screams resounded in the air. The 5 of them were sent flying. The 3 6-star battle emperors immediately closed their eyes. It was unknown whether they were dead or alive. The blue-haired youth and the red-haired youth were lying on the ground, dying. Their bodies were covered with blood. They were completely defeated. The disciples below glared at them with their eyes wide open. It was unbelievable. Even the 7-star battle emperors were defeated without any resistance. This person was too strong. No. It wasn't Qin Feiyang who was strong. It was Qin Feiyang's fighting soul that was strong. 9-leaf fire lotus. 9 fire lotus leaves. It was equivalent to 9 ultimate killing moves. How could there be such a fighting soul in this world? Qin Feiyang stood proudly in the air and looked down at the crowd. The fire lotus above his head was emitting waves of fire. At this moment, he was like a fire god descending to the world. His domineering aura shook the souls of everyone present. Is this the reason why you are so arrogant? Now, all of you, go down and lick the water on the floor clean bit by bit. He said coldly. What? Everyone's expression changed. They wouldn't do such an act that hurt their pride even if they were beaten to death. In an instant, everyone fled in fear into the alchemy room. Bang! Bang! The stone door closed. In the blink of an eye, the huge pill fire palace fell into a dead silence. Only Qin Feiyang, Murong Jing, and the blue-haired youth were left. Do you think you'll be fine if you hide in the alchemy room? Naive. Qin Feiyang sneered. Swoosh. He took a step forward and landed in front of the blue-haired youth and the red-haired youth. Without a word, he grabbed the two of them and threw them down as if they were trash. Bang! Accompanied by 2 loud sounds, the 2 of them fell to the bottom of the courtyard. They spat out blood and their bones were about to fall apart. Next, Qin Feiyang threw the 3 6-star battle emperors and the 3 5-star battle emperors down. The huge impact woke the 6 of them up. Next, they were drowned by the intense pain and screamed in agony. Chapter 429. After I throw everyone out, if you haven't licked it, don't blame me for being rude. Qin Feiyang glanced at the 8 people coldly, leaped into the air, landed on the 9th floor, walked to a stone door, and kicked it open. Inside was a man who looked about 25 or 26 years old. At this moment, his eyes were full of fear. Am I going to do it or do you want to get down by yourself? Qin Feiyang said expressionlessly. The man stammered, his face was full of horror, and he could not say a word for a long time. It seems that I have to do it. There was a cold flash in Qin Feiyang's eyes and he strode into the alchemy room. No, no, no. I'll go down by myself. The man's eyes trembled and he hurriedly ran out of the alchemy room, flying to the bottom of the courtyard. Qin Feiyang shouted, I told you to get down. Didn't you hear me? Hearing this, the man was immediately furious and shouted, don't go too far. So what if I bully you? Qin Feiyang sneered. If he did not have the strength to resist today, he did not know how he would be humiliated by these people. Therefore, regardless of whether it was a man or a woman, he would not show any mercy. It's best to have a bottom line when doing things. The man said gloomily. You even splashed the water to wash my feet. What right do you have to talk about a bottom line with me? Are you not going to get lost? Fine, I'll let you have a taste of living a life worse than death. Qin Feiyang's body shook. The red sword aura roared and the shocking sharpness swept across the sky. Seeing this, the man could not help but turn pale. I'll get lost, he quickly returned to the 9th floor and rolled down the stairs. The person just now, come out immediately, otherwise don't blame me for being ruthless. Qin Feiyang shouted. His voice was like a bell, spreading to every alchemy room. Everyone trembled physically and mentally. In their hearts, there was a deep sense of regret. If they had known that this person was so powerful, they would not have provoked him. You don't want to come out? Fine. Just you wait, I'll invite them one by one. Qin Feiyang walked in front of another stone door and kicked it open fiercely. Whoosh! He stepped into the alchemy room. Accompanied by a horrified scream, a woman was thrown out of the room. Following closely, Qin Feiyang went to the next alchemy room. Everyone that he invited was thrown out, full of hostility. For a moment, the Pill Fire Hall's screams and cries for mercy rang out incessantly. Murong Jing stood at the bottom of the well, watching coldly. Bang! Bang! 100 breaths passed. Apart from the pill refining rooms number 1 and number 2 on the 10th floor, the rest of the people were thrown out. Qin Feiyang stood at the railing of the 2nd floor. He raised his head and looked at the stone doors of Alchemy Room 1 and Alchemy Room 2. He then lowered his head and looked at the crowd below. A total of 86 people gathered at the bottom of the patio, glaring at Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang said coldly, "I don't want to repeat myself." "Lick it now." "Impossible. Only if you kill us." The red-haired and blue-haired youths roared, their eyes full of hatred. "Is that so?" Qin Feiyang leaped up and landed in front of the two of them. He kicked at their lower abdomens. "Ah!" The two of them screamed and were sent flying on the spot, falling to the ground. Next, Qin Feiyang walked out again. He stomped his foot. Battle qi gushed out from the sole of his foot. The red-haired youth's thigh was instantly crushed, flesh and blood splattering everywhere. "Are you going to lick it?" Qin Feiyang looked down at him condescendingly. "Are you dreaming?" The red-haired youth roared. The excruciating pain distorted his face. "I like to deal with stubborn people like you." Qin Feiyang smiled coldly. With a crack, he stomped down again, crushing the other thigh of the red-haired youth. Blood spurted out like a fountain. Seeing this, everyone else's faces were pale. Some timid people were even scared out of their wits. They hurriedly lay on the ground and licked the water stains on the ground. "Are you still stubborn?" Qin Feiyang revealed a devilish smile. The red-haired youth roared hysterically, "Just you wait, I will definitely kill you." "Still stubborn?" Qin Feiyang grinned. Clang! He took out a rib and immediately smashed down, breaking both arms of the red-haired youth. "Ah!" The red-haired youth wailed like a pig being slaughtered. "What about now?" Qin Feiyang asked. The red-haired youth screamed as he stared at Qin Feiyang, his eyes full of hatred. Qin Feiyang was surprised. This guy was quite unyielding. However, it was easy to deal with such people. He grabbed the rib and looked at the red-haired youth while pacing around him. Suddenly, he stopped and his gaze swept to the red-haired youth's crotch. The red-haired youth's gaze trembled. What did this person want to do? "This thing of yours, I guess it will only harm women. Now I will help you break it. In this way, you can cultivate without any desires in the future. You don't have to thank me. Who asked me to be a good person?" Qin Feiyang revealed a smile on his face. However, in the eyes of the red-haired youth, it was as if he saw a devil smiling at him. At the same time, all the men present could not help but clamp their legs. All of a sudden, Qin Feiyang raised the rib. The red-haired youth was finally scared and hurriedly said, "No, no, no, I lick. I will lick," Qin Feiyang shouted, "then hurry up, don't talk nonsense." The red-haired youth hurriedly put his hands on the ground, turned over and lay on the ground. However, when he saw the water stains on the ground, he really could not lick it. Especially when he thought that this was the water to wash feet, he could not do it. "It seems that I really have to use my real strength." Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. He kicked the red-haired youth over, lifted the rib and smashed it at the red-haired youth's penis. "No, I will lick it right away. The red-haired youth was anxious. He hurriedly turned over and lay on the ground. Without any hesitation, he stuck out his tongue and licked the water stains on the ground. He looked like a puppy licking food. That's a good boy. Qin Feiyang smiled brightly and turned to look at the blue-haired youth. The blue-haired youth's pupils shrank, and he immediately licked. Qin Feiyang looked at the others. Wherever he looked, the men immediately prostrated themselves on the ground. But those women were indifferent. They even looked at Qin Feiyang provocatively. It was as if they were saying, "Come on if you have the guts. If you get the reputation of bullying women, let's see who will lose face." Qin Feiyang glanced at them and said, "You really don't want to lick it? In your dreams. If you have the ability, come and touch us. Come on, we are right in front of you. Hurry up and do it." The group of women not only yelled crazily, but also raised their heads and puffed out their chests. They moved closer to Qin Feiyang as if they were saying, "What can you do to us?" Men were afraid of their penis being smashed, but women were not. Because they were not. Qin Feiyang glanced at those women who were getting closer and closer. His eyes flashed coldly. Whoosh! At this moment, accompanied by the sound of air being torn apart, the Wolf King rushed over explosively and landed on Qin Feiyang's shoulder. Huh! What's going on? Seeing the scene in front of him, Wolf King's eyes widened. Ruffian wolf. The group of women suddenly turned pale. It came to the inner palace too. The red-haired youth and the others could not help but feel cold all over. Wolf King's evil deeds had been spread throughout the inner palace. Everyone knew. He broke into the Lu family and peeked at Lu Tingting taking a bath. He tortured Wang Fei and Zheng Chuan. He was the head of the Dong family. Not only was he cruel, but he was also shameless. Brother, am I that scary? Wolf King was very unhappy. He sighed, I'm actually very kind. Really, I'm not lying to you. Kind? Everyone rolled their eyes and despised him from the bottom of their hearts. Something's wrong. Wolf King was about to say something, but a trace of suspicion suddenly appeared in his eyes. He carefully sniffed the smell in the air, then turned his head and sniffed Qin Feiyang's hair. Immediately, he pinched his nose and asked in confusion, "What's going on? Why do you smell like this?" Qin Feiyang said, "This is foot washing water." What? Wolf King's expression changed, and he hurriedly rose into the air with a look of disdain. Qin Feiyang's face darkened, and said, "You came at the right time. Let them all lie down and lick the foot washing water on the ground clean." As soon as he finished speaking, he jumped and landed on the 10th floor. Looking at the stone doors of the first and second alchemy rooms, his eyes flashed. Lick it clean? Wolf King was stunned. Looking at the red-haired youth and the others lying on the ground, he immediately thought of a general idea. Boom! A terrifying ferocious aura surged out, enveloping the entire place. You little girls, don't think that you have the right to be presumptuous just because you're a woman. Let me tell you, your tricks are useful on little Qin Zi, but they're useless on me. All of you lie down for me, or I'll strip you naked and make you run outside. Wolf King shouted. His entire body emitted a golden light, and in an instant, he transformed into a muscular wolf. His millstone-sized eyes flickered with an astonishing ferocious light. The group of women's faces turned pale. Without needing Wolf King to do anything, they all lay down one after another. Woo, I actually drank the foot-washing water. Qin Feiyang and Ruffian Wolf are too much of a bully. I want to tell the hall master. Some of the women immediately cried. They felt extremely wronged in their hearts. Even some of the men were shedding tears. You asked for it. You poured the water yourself. Even if you're crying, you have to swallow it. Wolf King disdainfully turned into the size of a palm and flew up to the 10th floor. He chuckled and said, "What do you think? I'm awesome, right?" Qin Feiyang lowered his head and glanced at the dozens of people. He generously gave Wolf King a thumbs up. Wolf King smiled proudly and asked, "What are you looking at?" Qin Feiyang said, "I'm thinking, which alchemy room Lu Xingchen is in, and who's in the other alchemy room?" Wolf King said, "I know." "You know?" Qin Feiyang was stunned. Wolf King nodded and said, "Lu Xingchen is in alchemy room number 2, but he's not in there now. He's in Heavy Region Mountain." Heavy Region Mountain? Qin Feiyang was puzzled. He had heard of this place before. Back then, when the Pill Hall Master asked Lu Xingchen to reflect on his mistakes, he went to Heavy Region Mountain. "We'll talk about it when we get there. I've heard some shocking news." Wolf King transmitted his voice. "What news?" Qin Feiyang asked secretly. Wolf King being able to use telepathy was not a small matter at all. This Shi Ming is an imposter. Chapter 430. What? Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled, and he asked, "Is it true?" Wolf King said, "It's absolutely true." Qin Feiyang said, "Who pretended to be him?" Wolf King said, "We don't know who pretended to be him yet, but Lu Xingchen respects him very much." Qin Feiyang frowned and said, "So, Shi Ming really went to find Lu Xingchen?" "Yes, I have to admit that you're really smart." Wolf King chuckled. Qin Feiyang said with a smile, "It's just a result based on common sense." "You're proud of yourself." Wolf King rolled his eyes and said, "Lu Xingchen is now facing the wall in the Chongyu Mountain. It's more than 10 miles away from the 4 main peaks, but the Chongyu Mountain is quite a fun place." Fun? Qin Feiyang was stunned. The Chongyu Mountain is shrouded in a very strong pressure. As long as you enter the range of the Chongyu Mountain, you can't fly. And you can't use your battle qi. It's similar to the shackles on Yan Nanshan's feet and hands when he was in prison. Wolf King's eyes lit up. Pressure? Qin Feiyang was surprised. He didn't expect there to be such a place in the inner hall. Wolf King said in a low voice, "I've recorded their conversation. Do you want to take a look?" Qin Feiyang's eyes lit up. This guy was quite smart. "Wait a minute," he said in a low voice. He continued to look at the number 1 alchemy room with an inexplicable light in his eyes. He had always thought that Lu Xingchen was the number 1 alchemist in the inner hall. But he didn't expect that there was another monster hidden. When he had the chance, he must meet this person. Whoosh! At this time, Murong Jing flew up and glanced at the 10 alchemy rooms. Her eyes flickered slightly. Qin Feiyang laughed, "You want to snatch the number 1 alchemy room? With you around, is there still a share for me?" Murong Jing said indifferently. Qin Feiyang said, "I don't intend to snatch alchemy room 1, I only want alchemy room 2. Because alchemy room number 2 belongs to Lu Xingchen." He added with a mocking look in his eyes. Murong Jing didn't understand at first, but when she heard Qin Feiyang's words, she suddenly understood. Subsequently, she looked at alchemy room 1, her eyes flickering. "In terms of alchemy, I'm not as good as Qin Feiyang, but I'm on par with Lu Xingchen. But Lu Xingchen is only in alchemy room 2. The person in alchemy room 1 should be even stronger. Furthermore, Qin Feiyang seems to want to use me to find out more about this man." After weighing the pros and cons, Murong Jing gave up on snatching alchemy room 1. She glanced at alchemy room 3, lowered her head to look at the red-haired young man and the others, and asked, "Who does alchemy room 3 belong to?" Hearing this, Qin Feiyang couldn't help but feel a trace of disappointment in his heart. He did want Murong Jing to find out more about this man, but Murong Jing also clearly saw through the clues. Although this woman was a woman of few words, her mind wasn't simple. It's mine. The blue-haired young man raised his head and looked at Murong Jing. From now on, Alchemy Room 3 belongs to me. Murong Jing announced in a high-profile manner. The blue-haired young man raised his eyebrows. He was afraid of Qin Feiyang, but he wasn't afraid of Murong Jing. He didn't even know who Murong Jing was. But he still had concerns. This woman came with Qin Feiyang, and the two should have a good relationship. What he was worried about was whether Qin Feiyang would help Murong Jing. I won't ask about your business. But the water on the floor must be licked clean. Qin Feiyang said lightly, pushed open the stone door, and strode into Alchemy Room 2. What? He's taking Alchemy Room 2 for himself just like that? Lu Xingchen will go crazy if he finds out. The crowd below suddenly became restless. Hurry up, I'll wait for you in the Alchemy Room. Murong Jing waved her hand, and her battle aura surged. She knocked open the stone door of the Alchemy Room, and walked in openly under the furious gaze of the blue-haired young man. Damn woman! You'll know the consequences of offending me later. The blue-haired young man's eyes had a trace of viciousness, and he shouted, hurry up and lick it. I'm going to strip that woman of her clothes and make her run naked outside. I'd like to see who's going to run naked later. Murong Jing, who was standing in Alchemy Room 3, had a cold glint in her eyes. Alchemy Room 2. This alchemy room was very big, at least 200 to 300 feet wide. It had an independent alchemy room, a cultivation room, and a lounge. Everything was available. I'll go wash up first. After closing the stone door, Qin Feiyang said to Wolf King and walked into the lounge. There was a water source in the lounge, and there was also a place for washing up. Wolf King wandered around the alchemy room. After a while, Qin Feiyang walked out, changed into a clean set of clothes, and looked refreshed. He sat on the chair in the cultivation room and shouted, White-eyed wolf, show me what you've recorded. If Shi Ming was really impersonated by someone else, it must be related to the Lu family. Just this point alone was enough to put the Lu family in a state of eternal damnation. But before that, he had to find out who the impersonator was. There might be some clues about what Wolf King had recorded. Wolf King slipped into the lounge like a wisp of smoke. But he grabbed a cauldron with his claws. Qin Feiyang looked at the cauldron, and his eyes suddenly widened. He said in surprise, where did you get this? The cauldron was black, and there was a lifelike lion carved on it. The light it emitted was even stronger than a third-grade cauldron. It was enough to show that it was a fourth-grade cauldron. Guess? The Wolf King chuckled. Qin Feiyang pondered for a while, and his eyes suddenly lit up. He raised his head and looked at the alchemy room. That's right. It's the cauldron in the alchemy room. It must be Lu Xingchen's. I'll help you erase the blood contract now. Wolf King laughed sinisterly, and a golden battle chi appeared and rushed toward the cauldron. Lu Xingchen was a 5-star combat emperor, and so was Wolf King. It was not difficult to erase the blood contract. At the same time, in a cave in the Heavy Region Mountain, Lu Xingchen sat cross-legged with his eyes closed. Puff! Suddenly, his body trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. What's going on? Lu Xingchen opened his eyes, which were filled with confusion. This is bad. Someone must have snatched my cauldron. All of a sudden, he shuddered and suddenly stood up, his eyes bursting with a cold light. No matter who it is, I won't let you have an easy time. Muttering to himself, Lu Xingchen walked out of the cave with a gloomy face. In the alchemy room, Wolf King withdrew his battle chi and laughed. Done, quickly drip your blood to recognize me as your master. Qin Feiyang immediately bit his finger and dripped a drop of blood onto the cauldron. A layer of blood light appeared and quickly subsided. A piece of information entered Qin Feiyang's mind. Fourth grade cauldron, lion cauldron. Wolf King laughed sinisterly. Lu Xingqian's expression must be very interesting right now. If he doesn't come looking for me, then he's tactful. But if he comes looking for trouble with me, I'll let him know what it means to ask for humiliation. Qin Feiyang put away the lion cauldron and pursed his lips into a cold smile. I'm really looking forward to it. Wolf King chuckled and took out an image crystal. He poured his battle chi into it and a video quickly appeared. In the video, there was a pitch-black mountain peak that was hundreds of feet tall, standing tall on the ground. On the mountain, there was nothing, not even a single weed. It was like a dead zone. However, on the cliff at the foot of the mountain, there were neatly arranged holes that were 10 feet large. They were like wormholes, emitting a mysterious and strange aura. In the video, Shi Ming strode into one of the holes. Inside the hole was a cave of about 10 feet. It was very simple and crude, with only a stone bed. Lu Xingqian sat cross-legged on the stone bed. When Shi Ming entered the cave, Lu Xingqian immediately stood up and bowed to welcome him. Shi Ming didn't beat around the bush and said directly, Qin Feiyang has arrived at the inner palace. So fast? Lu Xingqian's eyes trembled. Shi Ming asked, have you thought of a way to get rid of him? No. Lu Xingqian shook his head and sighed, even Dong Qing, a 6-star combat emperor, is no match for him. What can I do? Shi Ming said, I have an idea. Lu Xingqian was delighted and asked, what is it? Shi Ming said, the two kings of the inner palace are both 1-star combat ancestors. As long as you can persuade them and ask for their help, it won't be a problem. Yeah, why didn't I think of them? Lu Xingqian's eyes lit up. But after thinking for a while, he shook his head and said, I'm afraid it won't work. Both of them are in seclusion all year round. It's harder than ascending the heavens to meet them, let alone ask them to help. Seeing Lu Xingqian's lack of confidence, Shi Ming frowned. You haven't even tried, how do you know it won't work? Let me tell you, if you don't get rid of Qin Feiyang, you won't even have a chance to become the next patriarch, let alone go to the imperial capital. Shi Ming said angrily. Hearing this, Lu Xingqian's body trembled and bowed, I will do my best. Also, you have to remember. Don't be so respectful to me in front of others. The two palace masters are experienced people. If you act a little strangely, they will be able to see through it. If they know that I'm not Shi Ming, we're finished. Shi Ming warned with a serious face. I understand. Lu Xingqian nodded. All right, think about it carefully. Shi Ming said a few more words and turned to leave. The image in the void also ended. Wolf King put away the image crystal and asked, how was it? Did you find any clues? Qin Feiyang pondered for a moment and said, according to my deduction, this impostor should be from the Lu family. What do you mean? Wolf King was surprised. Lu Xingqian is proud and arrogant. How many people in the imperial capital can make him respect them so much? The palace master, the precious treasure pavilion master, the various big shots of the divine temple, these people are worthy of respect. But the palace master and the others wouldn't do such a thing. Other than that, there's only the Lu family left. For example, the Lu family master, Old Monster Lu, the various elders, and Lu Xingqian would definitely respect them. Qin Feiyang analyzed. That makes sense. Wolf King nodded and asked, is it possible that he's from another super family? Impossible. The super families fight openly and secretly. If they want to help, they'll help us deal with the Lu family. They won't join hands with the Lu family to deal with us. Besides, Lu Xingqian doesn't need to be so respectful to people from other super clans. Qin Feiyang said. Wolf King nodded thoughtfully and asked, so, what should we do now? First, Find out how many 9-star combat emperors there are in the Lu family. What are their identities? I'll send a message to Yin Yuanming. He must know. Qin Feiyang took out the image crystal. But at this moment, there was a faint noise outside. What's going on? Wolf King was surprised. I don't know. Let's go out and have a look. Qin Feiyang put away the image crystal and walked out of the resting room to the stone door. Chapter 431. Outside the door, there were 70 to 80 people gathered. The leader was the red-haired youth. His lost legs had been restored to their original state. It was noisy at first, but when they saw Qin Feiyang and Wolf King walk out, they immediately quieted down. Everyone's eyes were filled with fear. Did you lick it clean? Come up. Qin Feiyang frowned. Lick, clean, a skinny disciple said in a trembling voice. Qin Feiyang lowered his head and looked at the bottom of the patio. It was really clean and spotless. Wolf King asked, then why are you gathered here now? A female disciple said timidly, we are watching Murong Jing and Wu Yan compete in alchemy. Compete in alchemy? Qin Feiyang was stunned and said, what's the result? The female disciple said, Murong Jing won. Won? Qin Feiyang was surprised. He knew that Murong Jing was a top-grade alchemist. Lu Yun had also said that Murong Jing could refine top-grade pills. But after coming to the capital for so long, he had never seen Murong Jing refine pills with his own eyes. So, he still didn't know how good Murong Jing was at alchemy. At this moment, the blue-haired youth walked out in a daze, his face full of unwillingness. Wolf King said disdainfully, you're not even as good as a woman. What are you being arrogant for? Shut up. The blue-haired youth shouted, his hands clenched tightly together. Yeah. You've grown a temper. Come, let me practice with you. Wolf King stretched out his claws and provoked. The blue-haired youth's pupils constricted, and the fear on his face was clearly visible. Humph. But he couldn't put down his face. He snorted and looked at the red-haired youth, Su Yang, I want your alchemy room number 4. The red-haired youth frowned, looking very unhappy. But in the end, he nodded and said, okay, then the 5th alchemy room is mine. The person in the 5th alchemy room immediately cried, his eyes full of helplessness. Su Yang, Wu Yan, Qin Feiyang glanced at the two of them. Judging from the current situation, Wu Yan's alchemy talent was a notch higher than Su Yang's. Who else wants to challenge? I'll accompany you anytime. Murong Jing walked out and looked at the crowd calmly. No one made a sound. Who dared to steal my pill furnace? Get down here and die. But at this moment, an angry roar sounded from below the patio. Everyone looked down and saw Lu Xingchen standing below, panting. His eyes were filled with anger. What's the situation? Who stole his alchemy furnace? Everyone was puzzled. Suddenly, everyone looked at Qin Feiyang. Because when Lu Xingchen was facing the wall to reflect, only Qin Feiyang had entered alchemy room 2. Given his personality, it wouldn't be strange for him to steal Lu Xingchen's pill furnace. Qin Feiyang walked to the railing and looked down at Lu Xingchen. He didn't deny it and said indifferently, it's me. It's you. Lu Xingchen gritted his teeth, a cold light shooting out from his eyes. But the next moment, a smile crawled up his face and he said, so it's Brother Qin. Why didn't you tell me in advance that you came to the inner hall? I could have welcomed you. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and said, Senior Brother Lu is busy facing the wall. How would I dare to disturb you? Everyone looked at each other. What was going on? Didn't the two have a grudge? Why did it look like an old friend meeting now? Whoosh! Lu Xingchen leaped and landed in front of Qin Feiyang. He smiled and said, "Brother Qin, if you've taken a fancy to the Black Lion Cauldron, you could have just told me and I would have given it to you. Why do you need to use such underhanded means?" Why did these words sound wrong? It seemed to be mocking Qin Feiyang. The look in everyone's eyes changed. It seemed that Lu Xingchen hadn't let go of what happened back then. He still hated Qin Feiyang in his heart. But he didn't choose to fall out with him directly. Instead, he used this method to mock Qin Feiyang. "Qin Feiyang, you've finally met your match. Let's see how you fight back now. Fall out with him? Or endure it?" Everyone looked at Qin Feiyang with a sneer in their eyes. Qin Feiyang saw the look in their eyes, but he just smiled faintly. "Senior brother Lu, you're wrong. I didn't steal or cheat. How can I be considered underhanded? To be honest, I can snatch the Black Lion Cauldron because I have the ability. I'm more confident that you definitely can't take it back," Qin Feiyang said with a smile. Everyone's hearts trembled. Although Qin Feiyang said it quite politely, his words were full of provocation. Lu Xingchen also clenched his hands tightly. The reason for that was because Qin Feiyang's words had a double meaning. The positive meaning was that Qin Feiyang had the ability. But the reverse was to say that he, Lu Xingchen, was incompetent. "I'll endure it." Lu Xingchen took a deep breath and said with a smile, "Since Brother Qin has taken a fancy to the Black Lion Cauldron, then as your senior brother, I naturally have to be more magnanimous. Now, I'll publicly announce that I'm giving the Black Lion Cauldron to you." There was a deeper meaning behind his words. Because in this way, it wasn't Qin Feiyang who snatched it with his ability, but Lu Xingchen who gave it to him. The meaning was completely different. Not only could Lu Xingchen save his face, but he could also show his magnanimity, killing two birds with one stone. Giving away a fourth-grade cauldron just like that, senior brother Lu is indeed a disciple of a wealthy family. If you have a fifth-grade cauldron in the future, don't forget about me, senior brother Lu. Qin Feiyang chuckled. Insatiable greed. Everyone revealed looks of disdain. Lu Xingchen also revealed a look of ridicule. "You're all too naive. He's not greedy. He's secretly mocking Lu Xingchen, calling him a wastrel and a dandy," someone explained in a low voice. Qin Feiyang was quite surprised. He shook his head and laughed. It seems that there are still one or two smart people in the inner hall. Only then did everyone come to a realization. Both intelligent and brave, this Qin Feiyang was indeed a difficult character to deal with. Lu Xingchen's expression also froze on the spot. It was as ugly as it could be. He thought that he could save face, but now it was even more embarrassing. Qin Feiyang raised the corner of his mouth and asked, "Senior brother Lu, I'm occupying your alchemy room. You don't have a problem with that, right?" "Of course." Lu Xingchen paused and smiled. "Of course not. After all, as a senior brother, I have to take care of a new junior brother." But in his heart, he was already boiling with rage. From the moment he became a supreme-grade alchemist, he had never been so aggrieved. Especially the word occupy, which made him feel even more humiliated. "Thank you, senior brother." Qin Feiyang cupped his hands and smiled. Then, he turned around and walked into alchemy room number 2. Bang! The stone door quickly closed. Lu Xingchen's eyes flashed coldly. He looked at Wu Yan and said, "I want your alchemy room now. Give it up immediately." Wu Yan smiled bitterly and pointed at Murong Jing. "Alchemy room number 3 is now hers. If you want it, go to her." Lu Xingchen looked at Murong Jing and raised his eyebrows slightly. "I want to challenge you." Murong Jing said indifferently, "Then hurry up." That calm expression and calm tone made Lu Xingchen almost go crazy. A woman dared to look down on him? But he didn't know that Murong Jing didn't mean to look down on him at all. It was just her personality. Seeing this, Wu Yan's lips moved. He wanted to say something, but he didn't. Lu Xingchen entered alchemy room number 3. Murong Jing waved her jade-like hand, and the stone door closed with a bang. Su Yang was puzzled. Wu Yan, why didn't you tell Lu Xingchen? He's usually so arrogant. Why should I tell him? Wu Yan sneered. That's true. First, he was humiliated by Qin Feiyang. Next, he's going to lose to a woman. He'll definitely go crazy later. Su Yang nodded with a smile on his face. How is that possible? Sure enough. Not long after, there was a roar in alchemy room number 3. Then, the stone door opened. Lu Xingchen walked out of the alchemy room with a gloomy face. Lu Xingchen, don't forget our bet. Murong Jing's cold voice came from inside. What bet? Everyone looked at Lu Xingchen in confusion. But the next moment, everyone's eyes widened in shock. Those women exclaimed and turned their heads away. Because Lu Xingchen had taken off all his clothes, leaving only his underwear. Boom! The stone door of alchemy room number 2 opened. Wolf King and Qin Feiyang heard the news and came out. When they saw this scene, they were stunned. Why was he naked? However, facing everyone's surprised eyes, Lu Xingchen didn't explain at all. He directly jumped down from the railing and ran outside. Naked? These 2 words crawled up in everyone's mind. Qin Feiyang retracted his gaze and looked at Wu Yan and the others. He asked suspiciously, what's going on? Humph. Wu Yan snorted coldly and also jumped down, chasing after Lu Xingchen. The others also ignored Qin Feiyang and followed to watch the fun. Wolf King chuckled. It seems that they are very dissatisfied with you. So what if they are dissatisfied? Qin Feiyang sneered. At this time, Murong Jing walked out. Qin Feiyang turned to look at her and asked in confusion, why did Lu Xingchen take off his clothes? Just before the competition, he threatened me, so I fought back and made a bet with him. The loser will go outside and run around the inner hall naked. Murong Jing's tone and expression were still very calm, as if she had done something trivial. Hee, I'll go out and take a look. The Wolf King let out a sinister laugh and plunged downward. Qin Feiyang's face darkened. He said angrily, don't forget that you have business to do. Come back quickly. Got it. Wolf King replied without turning his head. Murong Jing also followed him back to the 3rd alchemy room. Qin Feiyang turned his head and looked at her back. His eyes flickered. Although Lu Xingchen's brain was not very good, he definitely had real ability. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been rumored to be a god. But now, he was actually defeated by the unknown Murong Jing. This woman was not simple. She might even be like him, hiding the true level of her mental strength. This Lu Xingchen was really unlucky. After suffering several losses in a day, let's see how arrogant he can be in the future. However, the good show was still to come. Qin Feiyang smiled coldly and also turned to return to the 2nd alchemy room. After closing the stone door, he sat in the lounge and pondered for a moment. Then, he took out the image crystal and activated it quickly. Soon, an illusory figure appeared. Chapter 432. As soon as Yin Yuanming appeared, he said with a smile, Brother Qin, I was just about to look for you. Qin Feiyang was stunned and asked, why are you looking for me? Look, it's been a month. The elixirs you gave me have been auctioned off long ago. Is it time to? Yin Yuanming chuckled. He was a standard old fox. Qin Feiyang's face twitched and he said helplessly, you know that the rarer something is, the more valuable it is. If it is auctioned every month, it will be worthless. Yes, yes, yes. So now, we are going to auction a red fire-colored glass elixir and a potential elixir every half a month. Yin Yuanming smiled. Qin Feiyang thought for a while and asked, how much was the last potential elixir sold at auction? About 20 billion. Yin Yuanming stretched out 2 fingers and his face was full of smiles. Qin Feiyang was surprised. Compared to a potential elixir with 1 elixir pattern, it was actually doubled? Brother, this is a good opportunity to make a fortune. You must seize it. Yin Yuanming said with a smile, his words full of temptation. But Qin Feiyang was not moved at all. He lowered his head and pondered. What's wrong? Yin Yuanming's heart was immediately suspended and he asked nervously. Qin Feiyang looked up at Yin Yuanming and shook his head. To be honest, I don't want to sell the potential elixir anymore. Why? Yin Yuanming asked hurriedly. Qin Feiyang said, the potential elixir is too precious. To put it bluntly, even 100 billion gold coins can't be equal to the value of the potential elixir. That's true. Yin Yuanming nodded. Once the door of potential was opened, whether it was talent, potential, or comprehension, they would all be raised to a new level. It could be said that a potential elixir was enough to create a strong person. Its real value naturally couldn't be measured by gold coins. But as a businessman, of course, making money was the main thing. Brother, I admit that what you said is very reasonable. But if we don't sell the potential elixir, not only will our treasure pavilion lose a lot of customers, but you will also have endless trouble. Because at that time, everyone will go to you. You have to know that people can do anything if they are forced. Yin Yuanming said. There was only one meaning behind these words. If he didn't sell it, there would definitely be a lot of people who would be unfavorable to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang frowned. He wasn't afraid, but he didn't want too much trouble. Alright, we'll continue to sell it, but we'll have to make some changes. 1 potential pill will be auctioned every month. 2 red fire-colored glass pills with 2 veins will be auctioned every month. This way, not only can we control the outflow of potential pills, we can also take the opportunity to raise the price. Why don't we just set the starting price at 30 billion in the next auction? There will still be people fighting over it. Qin Feiyang smiled. Yin Yuanming's eyes lit up as he chuckled and said, you cunning fellow, you should come to our treasure pavilion. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Doing business is too troublesome. It's not suitable for me. What a waste of talent. Yin Yuanming sighed deeply and nodded, all right, we'll do as you say. I'll go to the holy temple to find you later. Qin Feiyang said, I'm in the inner temple now. Why did you go to the inner temple so quickly? Yin Yuanming frowned. But when he thought of Qin Feiyang's glorious achievements in the holy temple, he understood. Such a talent, the 3 giants of the holy temple would definitely bring him to the inner temple and train him well. I'm not qualified to enter the inner temple, so you can only send the pills here. Yin Yuanming said. That's not a problem, but there's one thing you have to tell me truthfully. Qin Feiyang said. What is it? Yin Yuanming was puzzled. Qin Feiyang asked, how many 9-star combat emperors does the Lu family have? Why are you suddenly asking this? Don't tell me you're going to make a move on the Lu family. Yin Yuanming looked at Qin Feiyang in surprise. Qin Feiyang smiled bitterly and said, do I have the ability to do so now? I have my plans, you just have to tell me in detail. Yin Yuanming looked at him deeply and said, the Lu family has a total of 4 9-star combat emperors, the Patriarch, the Grand Elder, the Second Elder and the Third Elder. 4. Qin Feiyang's pupils shrank and said, where are they now? Yin Yuanming thought for a while and said, they rarely show themselves, they should be in seclusion to break through to the combat master realm. Qin Feiyang said, can you help me check their whereabouts? Check them? Yin Yuanming was stunned and smiled bitterly. Do you think I can help with my current relationship with the Lu family? Qin Feiyang was stunned and then smiled bitterly. Zhenbao Pavilion had completely banned the Lu family. The Lu family hated Zhenbao Pavilion to the bone. Yin Yuanming might not even be able to enter the Lu family's door, let alone inquire about the news. Forget it, I'll think of a way myself. As for the elixir, I'll send it to you when I'm free. Qin Feiyang said with a smile, then turned off the image crystal and fell into deep thought again. Outside, the situation was in an uproar. Whether it was the disciples of Pill Fire Palace or Cultivation Palace, they all came out to watch the show. Lu Xingchen lowered his head and ran wildly in the void. His hands were clenched tightly and his face was green and red. This was more than just a disgrace, it was a shame that he would never be able to wash away. As for the Wolf King, he grabbed a wooden stick and chased after Lu Xingchen. He kept roaring at Lu Xingchen as if he was chasing a cow. This made Lu Xingchen extremely angry. In the sky above the Cultivation Palace, a woman of peerless beauty stood facing the wind. It was Ren Wuxia. She looked at Lu Xingchen from afar with a calm face. No one knew what she was thinking. Whoosh! Another woman in black flew into the sky and landed in front of Ren Wuxia. This woman was also very beautiful. She had skin of ice and bones of jade and a tall figure. The pair of mountains in front of her chest were even more voluptuous, attracting the eyes of all the men below. Moreover, she had a natural charm. Her every frown and smile was enough to tug at the heartstrings. The woman in black said, Ren Wuxia, what's the meaning of this? What? Ren Wuxia turned his head and looked at her in confusion. Can you not play dumb? No matter what, Lu Xingchen is still your fiancé. Are you going to ignore him and let that scoundrel humiliate him? The woman in black frowned and looked at Ren Wuxia with a trace of disgust. Ren Wuxia caught it but pretended not to see it. He turned his head and continued to look at Lu Xingchen. Seeing that Ren Wuxia was silent, the woman in black behind him could no longer hide the disgust in her eyes. I really don't know what's so good about you that Lu Xingchen is so infatuated with you. I really feel that it's not worth it for him. If you don't go, I'll go. I don't believe that a beast can overturn the sky. The woman in black snorted and turned into a stream of light, flying towards Wolf King. I advise you not to go. Everyone in the city knows the rogue wolf's character. He won't care if you're a woman or not. Besides, whether I help Lu Xingchen or not is my business. It has nothing to do with you. Ren Wuxia finally spoke. His voice was like the sound of nature, intoxicating. You. The woman in black stopped in the void and turned her head to look at Ren Wuxia. Her eyes were a little hazy. Did I say something wrong? Ren Wuxia said lightly. The woman in black sneered. You're not wrong. The one who's wrong is Lu Xingchen. He must be blind to like you. Unfortunately, even if he's blind, he won't like you. Ren Wuxia said with an expressionless face. The woman in black clenched her jade-like hands. Her eyes were cold. She said coldly, if you're not the granddaughter of the palace lord, would he like you? You're absolutely right. He's such a person. He only cares about power. Women are just tools in his heart. Listen to my advice. Don't provoke him. Otherwise, you'll regret it in the future. Ren Wuxia said indifferently before descending towards the cultivation palace below. The woman in black looked at her and flew towards Lu Xingchen without hesitation. She shouted, Rogue Wolf, don't go too far. Wolf King stopped in the void and looked at the woman in black. He said mockingly, do you also want to run around naked? The woman in black's eyes turned cold. She said, "The inner palace is not a place for a beast like you to behave atrociously." Boom! She pointed her finger in the air. A dazzling battle chi surged towards the Wolf King like a torrential flood. 6-star battle Emperor? Wolf King was stunned. He said disdainfully, "You dare to attack me with such strength?" Swoosh! He used the air escape step and calmly dodged the battle chi attack. After a few flashes, he landed in front of the woman. "If you want to run around naked, I'll grant your wish." He laughed and stretched out his small demonic claws towards the woman in black's dress. "How dare you?" The woman in black shouted angrily. "There's nothing I don't dare to do." Wolf King grabbed the woman's dress and was about to tear it off. Ren Wuxuang's voice sounded at this moment. "Rogue Wolf, don't mess around. Go back." She stood in the square of the cultivation palace with a trace of anger on her face. Wolf King looked at Ren Wuxuang and pursed his lips. He let go of the woman in black's dress and snorted, "You're lucky today. Try again next time." After saying that, he threw away the wooden stick in his hand and turned in the air. He rushed towards the Pill Fire Palace without looking back. Seeing this, everyone's eyes were filled with astonishment. Rogue Wolf's character was obvious to all. He was definitely someone who was not afraid of anything. How could he be afraid of Ren Wuxuang? Did Ren Wuxuang and Rogue Wolf know each other? That couldn't be right. If they really knew each other, Rogue Wolf would at least say goodbye to Ren Wuxuang before leaving. It should be because of Ren Wuxuang's identity. No one in the entire spiritual state would dare to touch the granddaughter of the mansion master. From the looks of it, this ruffian wolf wasn't really lawless after all. Pill Fire Palace. As soon as Wolf King entered alchemy room number 2, he smirked at Qin Feiyang. "I saw Ren Wuxuang outside just now. She's more beautiful than before. Little Qin Zi, why don't you take her as well? Get lost." Qin Feiyang's face darkened. Couldn't this bastard be more serious? Wolf King smirked, "I'm doing this for your own good. Don't give up the entire ocean for a mermaid. It's not worth it." "You're not done, are you?" Qin Feiyang suddenly stood up. His eyes were full of hostility. Wolf King hurriedly stretched out his paw. Okay, I won't say any more." "How was it? Did you find out?" Qin Feiyang nodded, "Yes, 4 9-star combat emperors. By the way, how is Lu Xingchen?" "So many?" Wolf King was a little surprised. He chuckled, "What do you think will happen after running around naked? I'm afraid he won't have the face to see anyone after today. Let's not talk about him. What should we do next?" "Of course we'll go to the Lu family and find out." Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed coldly. He waved his hand to open a portal and strode in. "Hee, Lu family, you'll tremble in fear." Wolf King chuckled and ran in like a wisp of smoke. Chapter 433. The Lu Family. This behemoth was located in the center of the East City, covering an area of more than 10 miles. There were pavilions, gardens, woods, small bridges, and flowing water. The 4 walls were 3 to 4 meters high, inlaid with white jade, clean and neat. The gate was 7 to 8 meters high. 2 white stone sculptures of giant tigers stood on both sides of the gate. They were vivid and lifelike, showing off an extraordinary style. The 4 guards stood in front of the stone sculptures, their backs straight and their eyes bright. Whoosh! Suddenly, a man and a wolf appeared out of thin air. Qin Feiyang. Ruffian wolf. The 4 guards immediately became vigilant. Their eyes flashed with an astonishing cold light. Qin Feiyang looked at the 4 and said indifferently, "Go and tell Patriarch Lu that I am here to visit." "Sorry. My Lu family does not welcome you." Get lost immediately, otherwise don't blame us for being rude. The 4 guards shouted. You're courting death. Wolf King's eyes flashed fiercely. He stepped out and instantly landed in front of the 4. Slap. At that moment, the 4 of them were slapped in the face, and with a scream, they flew out and hit the stone sculptures behind them, blood gushing out. We can come to your Lu family because your ancestors have accumulated merit. If you dare to talk nonsense again, I will kill you. Wolf King sneered. The 4 of them climbed up in a sorry state, clenching their fingers, and looked at Wolf King with hatred. The Wolf King shouted, What are you waiting for? Go and report this. The 4 of them quivered and couldn't help but feel a chill in their hearts. One of them immediately turned around and rushed into the gate without looking back to inform Patriarch Lu. I was talking to you nicely, but you didn't listen and forced me to do it. Aren't you asking for a beating? Wolf King glanced at the other 3 with disdain, and then returned to Qin Feiyang's shoulder. When the 3 of them heard this, an indescribable fear emerged in their hearts. The man and the wolf came so suddenly that they didn't have time to recall what happened in the sacred palace. Now that they remembered it, they were afraid. The ruffian wolf in front of them was someone who even dared to beat up Patriarch Dong. What were they, small guards, to him? Very soon, the guard who went to report came out with a black-clothed old man. It was Steward Lu. Why have you come to my Lu clan? Steward Lu frowned. Haven't you always wanted to invite us to the Lu family? What is it? Now that we're here, you're not welcoming us? Qin Feiyang said with a smile. Welcome, of course you're welcome. Please come in. Housekeeper Lu retreated to the side, a cold light flashing in the depths of his old eyes. With a faint smile on his face, Qin Feiyang entered the Lu family in a grand manner. From now on, no one is allowed to visit. Steward Lu warned the 4 guards and quickly chased after Qin Feiyang. The 4 guards looked at each other, their eyes shining with a cold light. It was easy to enter the Lu family, but it was difficult to leave the Lu family. A moment later, Qin Feiyang and Steward Lu entered a reception hall. The reception hall was very large, and the decorations were very luxurious. There were even maids waiting outside the door. Steward Lu sat on the main seat and pointed to a chair next to him, saying, Please take a seat. Qin Feiyang glanced around, walked to the chair, and sat down. Come, serve the tea. Steward Lu shouted outside the door. A moment later, 2 maids carried a tray and walked into the reception hall one after another. After that, the 2 of them turned and left the reception hall, waiting outside the door. Qin Feiyang picked up the teacup, put it at the tip of his nose and sniffed it, then put it on the table next to him. Seeing this, Steward Lu sneered, What? The fearless Qin Feiyang is also afraid of poison? Qin Feiyang said lightly, I just don't like the smell. You don't like it? Steward Lu raised his eyebrows and said, This is the best tea in the city. What are you picky about? Everyone's taste is different. The best may not suit everyone. This is the same as people. Those with good talent may not be able to have a smooth journey and soar. Qin Feiyang laughed. Steward Lu said, If you want to say something, just say it. Don't be sarcastic. Is there? Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and said, Previously, I heard people outside say that Lu Xingchen bullies men and women and has a bad character. This is not a good thing. Nonsense. Steward Lu was furious. Qin Feiyang said, Now that everyone is talking about it, it's hard to say whether it's nonsense or not. Steward Lu was furious and was about to scold him. But suddenly, he frowned and looked gloomily at Qin Feiyang and Wolf King, saying, Were you the ones who spread these rumors? Wolf King pursed his lips and said, Whether it was us who spread it or not, won't you know if you investigate? Steward Lu said angrily, if I could investigate, why would I ask you? Who is to blame? You can only blame yourselves for being too useless. Wolf King's eyes were full of disdain. Steward Lu glanced at the man and wolf with a gloomy face. Originally, he wanted to sound them out, but now, he was even more confused. Was it a man and a wolf who were spreading rumors? He could not tell. Wolf King rolled his eyes and said, "There's one more thing I need to tell you." Previously, Lu Xingchen ran naked in the inner hall and lost all his face. What? Steward Lu suddenly stood up and glared at Qin Feiyang and Wolf King, his body burning with anger. It has nothing to do with us. Why are you glaring at us? Wolf King rolled his eyes. Impossible. Steward Lu said coldly. With Lu Xingchen's talent, who would dare to provoke him? It must be these two little bastards who were causing trouble. Believe it or not. Wolf King pursed his lips. Let's see how long you can be arrogant. Steward Lu muttered to himself, a cold light flashed in his old eyes. He said, "Let's not beat around the bush. Why did you come to the Lu family?" Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed and said calmly, "The white-eyed wolf is itching to challenge your Lu family's 9-star combat emperor." Challenge? Steward Lu was stunned and immediately became furious. He shouted, "Don't push it too far. Don't be so agitated. Let me finish first. If you win, I will ask Shenbao Pavilion to cancel the ban on the Lu family." Qin Feiyang said. Cancel the ban. Steward Lu's eyes lit up. No. How could this little bastard be so kind? There must be a trap. Qin Feiyang said indifferently, "I mean what I say. As long as the white-eyed wolf loses, I will immediately send a message to Yin Yuanming." Steward Lu asked cautiously, "Why do you want to challenge them?" "Didn't I tell you? My hands are itching. If you really want to find an explanation, I want to humiliate you. How about it? Do you dare to accept the challenge?" Wolf King laughed sinisterly. His small body emitted a monstrous battle intent. Arrogant. Wait here. I will go and ask the family head now. You will definitely regret it when the time comes. Steward Lu was furious. He shouted coldly and rushed out of the reception room. Wolf King said telepathically, "Little Qin Zi, will it really work?" "I don't know." Qin Feiyang shook his head. Wolf King said, "Why don't we send a message to the mansion master and ask him for help?" "We will see." Qin Feiyang replied. If they always asked for help, they would become dependent on others. They could ask the mansion master for help now. However, when they went to the capital and faced the threat of the imperial power, who could they ask for help from? Therefore, they had to rely on themselves for everything. Swoosh. Soon. Two figures broke through the air and entered the reception room. They were the head of the Lu family, Steward Lu. Steward Lu said in a deep voice, "How do you want to fight?" Wolf King said domineeringly, "Regardless of life and death, we will take turns to fight. You can choose whatever you want. Don't be too arrogant." Patriarch Lu shouted. "I am so arrogant." "So what?" Wolf King looked at him contemptuously and provocatively. "Okay. I will fight with you first. But the premise is that you are not allowed to use that rib." Patriarch Lu said. "Are you an idiot? This is a life-and-death battle. Of course, I will use any means." Wolf King sneered, his eyes full of contempt. Patriarch Lu's eyes darkened and he hesitated. If he did not use his rib, he would not hesitate to accept the challenge. However, the power of his rib was obvious to all. Patriarch Dong's strength was about the same as his. Even Patriarch Dong was no match for this ruffian wolf. His chances of winning were definitely very slim. However, if he did not accept the challenge, this man and wolf would definitely make a big fuss. At that time, the Liu family would inevitably become the laughing stock of the world. Moreover, as a super family, the Liu family's pride would not allow them to cower from the challenge. Patriarch. This is a good opportunity to kill them. We can't refuse. Because they provoked us first. Even if we kill them, the people in the inner hall will have nothing to say. But you can't do it alone. Just call the Grand Elder and the others here. If you join forces, you will definitely kill it quickly. Steward Liu whispered in Patriarch Liu's ear. Patriarch Liu's eyes lit up. He looked at the man and wolf and asked, "Take turns to fight. Let's fight together. We can choose, right?" "Of course." Qin Feiyang nodded. "Okay." Patriarch Liu nodded and sneered. "I will do as you wish. Steward Liu, go and call the Grand Elder and the Second Elder here immediately." "Yes." Steward Liu bowed and coldly glanced at the man and wolf. Then he turned around and flew into the sky. Little Qin Zi, why did he only call the Grand Elder and the Second Elder here? Where is the Third Elder? Is that impostor the Third Elder? Wolf King said in surprise through telepathy. It's very possible. Qin Feiyang secretly said, and a light flashed in the depths of his eyes. Patriarch Liu definitely knew the power of the bones. Moreover, he could also see that Patriarch Liu wanted to take this opportunity to get rid of him and Wolf King. Logically speaking, the Third Elder should also be called, because this would be more likely to succeed. But he didn't even mention it, which meant that there must be something wrong. Soon, two old men with white hair and a ruddy complexion arrived in the living room with Steward Liu. Both of them looked very old, as if they were about to die, but their faces were ruddy and full of spirit. At the same time, looking at Qin Feiyang and Wolf King, their eyes were also full of killing intent. Wolf King waved its claws, and two ribs appeared out of thin air, exuding an astonishing aura. You three old bastards are not enough. Who else is there? Call them out. Brother, I will deal with them together. It glanced at the three arrogantly. Its contemptuous eyes were like looking at ants, which almost drove Patriarch Liu and the other two crazy. Cut the crap. Come with us. The three of them shouted coldly, turned around, and flew out. Chapter 434. Swoosh. Two groups of people rushed out of the hall one after the other and soared into the sky. Boom. The Wolf King stood up like a human and transformed into a muscular wolf that was over 10 meters tall. Terrifying ferocious might spread out in all directions. Qin Feiyang said, "If you lose, you have to hand over all the Liu family savings." He did this to dispel the doubts in their hearts. Because of this, the Liu family would never think that they were here to investigate Shi Ming's real identity. They would only think that they were here for the Liu family's savings. On the other hand, they wanted to completely destroy the Liu family. The reason why the Liu family could continue to survive was because of the savings they had accumulated in the past. If they lost now, they would lose their savings. The Liu family that was banned by the Precious Treasure Pavilion would be doomed. They could find out Shi Ming's identity and destroy the Liu family at the same time. It was killing two birds with one stone. So this is your real purpose. You want to destroy the Liu family? You don't have the ability. Today, the Liu family will accompany you to the end. Either you die or I die. The patriarch of the Liu family, the Grand Elder, and the Second Elder were furious. Boom! Their aura exploded and shocked everyone. What's going on? The people of the East City were shocked. Many figures soared into the sky and looked toward the Liu family. Look, isn't that Qin Feiyang and Ruffian Wolf? Why are they here? These two guys went straight to the Liu family. They are too lawless. The people were shocked. 1 told 10, 10 told 100, and this matter soon became a hot topic. These two little bastards really know how to cause trouble. Yin Yuanming stood in the sky above the precious treasure pavilion and muttered to himself. Swoosh! A lady in purple landed beside him and asked curiously, "What's going on?" "I don't know either. Not long ago, Qin Feiyang asked me how many 9-star combat emperors there are in the Liu family. I even asked him if he was going to attack the Liu family. He said that he doesn't have the ability to do so now. But in the blink of an eye, he went to the Liu family. It looks like he is going to fight. I really don't get it. What is this bastard trying to do?" Yin Yuanming frowned. "Find out how many 9-star combat emperors there are in the Liu family." The purple-clothed woman muttered, and the space between her brows was filled with puzzlement. "They're attacking." Someone below shouted in alarm. Rumble. In the sky above the Liu family. Patriarch Liu and the other two patriarchs exchanged glances and waved their hands at the same time. Battle chi gushed out of their bodies like a torrent. Patriarch Liu's battle chi was golden in color, and it carried a bone-piercing sharpness. The Grand Elder and the Second Elder's battle chi were fiery red, like a sea of fire rolling in the sky. "Bastard, die!" The three of them roared as 3 streams of battle chi swept across the sky, rolling towards Wolf King. Following closely. They immediately performed their battle arts. He intended to kill Wolf King as quickly as possible. "Be careful." Qin Feiyang glanced at the three of them and warned Wolf King before retreating. "Trash, wake up." "Ao," Wolf King raised his head and roared. He didn't dodge the attacks, but rushed towards the 3 streams of battle chi. Dog beating stick first form, total annihilation. As he approached, he waved his claws and smashed towards the 3 streams of battle chi. Rumble. The rib bone glowed with a hazy light as it destroyed the 3 streams of battle chi. Wolf King was unharmed. What? Patriarch Liu and the other 2 patriarchs were shocked. Seeing this scene, they realized a very serious problem. They had underestimated the power of the rib bone. The Grand Elder shouted, "Don't be scared, the 3 of us can definitely kill it." "Yes." The Second Elder nodded. "Kill." The 3 of them roared and pushed their hands forward. Rumble. 3 great battle arts appeared in the sky, releasing an earth-shattering aura as they rushed towards Wolf King. High-grade battle arts. Qin Feiyang's eyes lit up. He couldn't help but worry. After all, this was the joint attack of 3 9-star combat emperors. It could even be said that this was a fatal blow. Even the 9-star combat emperors wouldn't dare to face the 3 great battle arts head-on. However, Wolf King wasn't afraid at all. Instead, he was eager to try. The 3 great battle arts arrived in a flash. That terrifying murderous intent shrouded 100 miles of land. Dog beating stick second form, whirlwind. At the same time, Wolf King swooped down and rushed to the front of the 3 great battle arts. He raised the rib bone on his claws and smashed it. Rumble. Under countless people's incredulous gazes, the 3 great battle arts collapsed in an instant. How is this possible? Patriarch Liu and the other 2 stared at him in disbelief. One must know. Not only were they 9-star combat emperors, but they were also using high-grade battle arts. However, they couldn't even withstand a single blow. They must be dreaming. Swoosh. While they were distracted, Wolf King used the void escape step and appeared in front of them in a few flashes. Hee. Dog beating stick third form, beating the mad dog. He laughed sinisterly. He grabbed the rib bone with his claws and smashed them on the heads with lightning speed. Bang! Ah! The three of them immediately screamed and shot down like meteorites. Their heads were all broken and bleeding, and they saw stars in front of their eyes. Boom! At last. Along with a loud bang, the three of them crashed into a hall below. The hall was razed to the ground in an instant. Billowing dust and smoke rose to the sky, covering half of the Liu family. So powerful. Patriarch Liu, the first and second patriarchs of the Liu family, are no match for him. What kind of divine item are the two bones on his claws? The people in the void far away were all stunned. Including Yin Yuanming and the lady in purple. Wolf King stood in the sky proudly. He waved his claws and a gust of wind blew away the dust below. A deep pit appeared. Patriarch Liu and the other two stood at the bottom of the deep pit. Their hair was disheveled and their faces were dirty. Blood was flowing from their heads. The severe pain made their faces contort. Blood dyed their faces red. At this moment, they were like bloody demons from purgatory. They looked particularly ferocious. How does my dog-beating three-form feel? The Wolf King chuckled. Bastard, I'm going to kill you. The first patriarch roared as if he had gone mad. Boom! A gigantic creature, carrying a terrifying ferocious aura, soared into the air from behind. The second patriarch also activated his fighting soul. Fighting soul? Qin Feiyang was stunned. As if he suddenly thought of something, a trace of suspicion appeared in his eyes. Then he lowered his head and pondered. Then he looked at Wolf King. Seeing the first patriarch and second patriarch activating their fighting souls, a sinister smile appeared in his eyes. Seeing the sinister smile in Wolf King's eyes, Patriarch Liu felt uneasy. But what exactly made him feel uneasy, he couldn't tell. Roar! All of a sudden, accompanied by an earth-shattering roar, a giant golden figure appeared in the void behind the Wolf King. That's right. That's his fighting soul. Patriarch Liu's expression changed and he hurriedly shouted, First Patriarch, Second Patriarch, it can rob us of our fighting souls, quickly withdraw your fighting souls. Rob! Wolf King's low roar exploded in the void. Oh no! The first patriarch and second patriarch finally remembered the terrifying power of Wolf King's fighting soul. Activating their fighting souls in front of this ruffian wolf was simply sending themselves to death. Immediately. The two of them didn't dare to hesitate and quickly recalled their fighting souls. Why are you recalling them? If you don't activate your fighting souls, do you still have a chance of winning? Activate them all, I'll be merciful this time and not devour your fighting souls. Wolf King said seriously. Who would believe you? The three of them glared at each other. At the same time, they began to regret. If they knew that Rib was so powerful, they wouldn't have agreed to the challenge. So boring. I heard that the three patriarchs are also 9-star combat emperors, and there are many 8-star combat emperors? Let's just let them come together. I'll play with you. Wolf King's purpose wasn't to kill the three patriarchs, but to force the three patriarchs out. If the three patriarchs didn't show up, then there was no doubt that the person who pretended to be Shiming was this person. The three patriarchs were silent and their faces were gloomy. As long as Ruffian Wolf had Rib, it didn't matter how many people came. Unless it was a combat master. Suddenly, Patriarch Liu intentionally or unintentionally glanced behind Qin Feiyang, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. He saw that housekeeper Liu had sneaked behind Qin Feiyang. Moreover, he was quietly approaching Qin Feiyang. As for Qin Feiyang, he still had his head lowered, and no one knew what he was thinking. He didn't seem to notice housekeeper Liu's approach. As long as housekeeper Liu's sneak attack is successful, Ruffian Wolf is no longer a threat. What we need to do now is to divert Ruffian Wolf's attention and not let him discover us. Patriarch Lu secretly thought, then looked up at Wolf King and sneered, "If not for those 2 ribs, killing you would be easier than slaughtering a dog. If you don't believe me, you can come and try. Don't say such useless words. Hurry up and summon everyone from your Lu clan." Wolf King disdainfully said. At this time, Housekeeper Lu was only 10 meters away from Qin Feiyang. Whoosh! Suddenly, his old eyes were filled with killing intent, and like a flash of lightning, he rushed towards Qin Feiyang. In an instant, in the palm of his hand, battle chi surged. A palm struck towards Qin Feiyang's back. Success! Patriarch Lu was overjoyed. The 2 patriarchs' eyes were also shining. Sneak attack. Steward Lu's murderous aura naturally alarmed the Wolf King. But it only took a glance, and then withdrew its gaze without the slightest worry. And it also took the opportunity to attack Patriarch Lu and the other 2 people in the deep pit below. In the blink of an eye. On Housekeeper Lu's old face, there was already a cruel smile, and the sneak attack was about to succeed. But at this time, Qin Feiyang, who was motionless, suddenly stepped out. Housekeeper Lu's palm struck empty air, and the smile on his old face suddenly froze. How was it possible for him to dodge that? Before he could stabilize his body, a bone-piercing killing intent attacked from behind. Following closely, Housekeeper Lu felt a heart-wrenching pain coming from his back. He saw Qin Feiyang standing behind Housekeeper Lu, and his fingertips were gushing out strands of red sword chi. No, Patriarch Lu suddenly screamed in horror. But the next moment, the red sword chi was like a sharp arrow, tearing through flesh and blood. It entered his back and pierced through his chest, leaving behind a fist-sized bloody hole. Chapter 435. Steward. Patriarch Lu roared. The Grand Elder and the Grand Elder were also furious. Although Steward Lu was weak, his loyalty and ability were impeccable. Steward Lu's position in their hearts could be said to be more important than any other disciple in the clan. How could they not be angry when he died in front of them? Swoosh! The 3 of them looked at Qin Feiyang, their eyes glinting fiercely. "You inhumane bastard, the heavens will not forgive you if I don't kill you." Patriarch Lu roared and rushed toward Qin Feiyang with a murderous aura. "The heavens will not forgive you? Are you fucking kidding me? The Lu family dares to launch a sneak attack. If little Qin Zi is a bastard, then you are worse than a bastard." But at this moment, Wolf King arrived. The 2 ribs on his claws mercilessly smashed toward Patriarch Lu's head. Patriarch Lu's expression changed and he quickly turned around to escape. Bang! The 2 ribs smashed into his back, and with a cracking sound, his spine was shattered. Ah! Patriarch Lu was once again sent flying with a scream, and blood spurted out from his mouth. "You 2 old bastards, don't run if you have the guts." Wolf King charged toward the Grand Elder and the Grand Elder with a murderous aura. The 2 of them also changed their expressions and fled in panic. High up in the sky, Housekeeper Lu breathed his last and fell down. Swoosh! At this moment, dozens of figures soared into the sky with an imposing aura. The 7 old men in the lead all had an unfathomable aura. The group of people behind the 7 of them were also war emperors. One of the old women in black caught Steward Lu and said in a deep voice, "Steward Lu is dead." The group of people immediately looked at Qin Feiyang, their eyes flashing with a shocking murderous aura. "What? You want to gang up on me?" Qin Feiyang glanced at them. These people were the old monsters of the Lu family. The weakest among them was a 5-star combat emperor. The aura of the strongest 7 was comparable to Yan Nanshan's. They were all 8-star combat emperors. With such a powerful lineup, it could be said that Qin Feiyang had no chance of winning if they really fought. However, there was not the slightest bit of fear on his face. Because he had something to rely on, a trump card. You killed a member of my Lu clan. Today, I'll make you pay with your blood. The black-clothed old woman shouted. He attacked me first. What's wrong with me killing him? Now you're blaming me, don't you think it's ridiculous? Qin Feiyang was so angry that he laughed. Cut the crap. Everyone, let's attack together and cripple him. The black-clothed old woman coldly shouted. Without any explanation, the group of people rushed towards Qin Feiyang with great momentum. Qin Feiyang shook his head. He felt rather helpless when faced with such shameless people. Wolf King, who was in the middle of chasing after the three elders, was immediately enraged when he saw the situation. He roared, "Little Qin Zi, why don't we wipe out the Lu family today?" Wipe out the Lu family. Qin Feiyang glanced at the dozens of people, his eyes flashing. Suddenly, wisps of murderous aura burst out of his body. All right. Wipe out the Lu family. Qin Feiyang nodded. At this moment, he was like the god of death, his eyes extremely cold. Clang! Chang Shui appeared out of thin air. He grabbed Chang Shui, and a shocking aura erupted in all directions like a volcanic eruption. How dare they threaten to wipe out the Lu family? Are they crazy? If they alert the Lu family's patriarch, they won't be able to survive. The people in the void far away were all dumbfounded. This man and wolf were so crazy that they had reached the point of lawlessness. Arrogant. The dozens of people from the Lu family were also seething with anger. Whether I'm arrogant or not, you'll know soon enough. White-eyed wolf, delay those three old men. I want them to see their clansmen die one by one. Qin Feiyang shouted. Swoosh. As soon as he finished his words, he used the phantom steps and dashed towards the group of people without fear, his eyes fixed on 20 of them. These 20 people were all 5-star combat emperors. His first target was to eliminate these 20 people. I don't know if they're dead or alive. The eyes of the old woman in black and the other 6 people turned cold. With a wave of their hands, expanses of dazzling and resplendent battle chi surged towards Qin Feiyang with overwhelming force. Terrifying murderous aura filled every corner of the place. You're just 8-star combat emperors, what are you being so arrogant for? Ultimate void. Qin Feiyang pointed his finger at the sky. An invisible force turned into a rolling torrent and roared. Boom! At this moment, the battle chi of the old woman in black and the other 6 exploded in the void, and a destructive airwave swept across all directions. The 7 of them took a step back. Qin Feiyang spat out a mouthful of blood and his face turned pale. Although the ultimate void could increase his combat strength to that of an 8-star combat emperor, the 7 of them were real 8-star combat emperors. He would definitely not be able to withstand the joint attack of the 7 of them. The chi and blood in his body were surging, and the arm that used the ultimate void cracked and blood instantly dyed his whole body red. But the battle intent that overflowed from his body was getting more and more terrifying. Boom! He stepped on the void and used the phantom steps to the extreme. He was like a blood-soaked god of war, rushing towards the group of people once again. The sky was filled with the phantoms he left behind. His shocking aura made people tremble in fear. The old woman in black and the other 6 people looked at each other and waved their hands to perform the battle arts. Kill. 7 battle arts appeared in the sky, and all of them were superior battle arts. Their terrifying power shook the heavens and earth. Boom! The 7 battle arts drowned Qin Feiyang and turned him into ashes in an instant. However, there were no screams, and no blood gushed out. Not good. It's an illusion. The 7 people's expressions changed. Guiyuan sword art, annihilation. At the same time, a bone-chilling voice suddenly sounded from behind, like a devil from hell, making people feel cold all over. The group of people suddenly turned around, including the old woman in black and the other 6 people. Immediately, they saw Qin Feiyang standing in the void behind them. He raised his arm and a red sword aura burst out from his fingertips. Clang! In the blink of an eye, 20 sword shadows appeared in the sky. Their terrifying sharpness swept across the sky and slashed towards the group of people. Quick! The old woman in black shouted. Boom! Roar! The group of people used various techniques. Some activated their battle souls. Some used their battle arts. They blasted towards the 20 sword shadows. Clang! Crack! Boom! At that moment, loud noises resounded, shaking the heavens and earth. Terrifying auras swept out in all directions like tsunamis in the ocean. In the sky, the sword shadows were collapsing, the battle arts were disintegrating, and the battle souls were also collapsing. Pfft! Qin Feiyang's body shook violently and he kept retreating, blood spurting out from his mouth. This is not good. Yin Yuanming whispered. The lady in purple nodded. The Liu family's lineup was very strong. 7 8-star combat emperors, 11 7-star combat emperors, 15 6-star combat emperors, and 25-star combat emperors. Moreover, all of them had mastered high-grade battle arts. Qin Feiyang's combat strength was indeed shocking. If it was a one-on-one battle, he would be able to crush a 7-star combat emperor. He even had the strength to fight an 8-star combat emperor. However, it was too much for him to fight against 10 people alone. To be exact, he was simply courting death. Let's kill him in one go. The old woman in black shouted. The aura of the group of people from the Liu family skyrocketed. Waves of battle arts and battle souls crushed the sword shadows and blasted towards Qin Feiyang. Yin Yuanming's eyelids twitched. He turned to look at the lady in purple and said in a low voice, "Pavilion Master, are you not going to help him?" "Of course I will." However, since he dares to say that he will massacre the Liu family, he must have some hidden trump cards. Let's wait for a while more. The lady in purple said, locking her gaze on Qin Feiyang. Her eyes flashed with an inexplicable light. Trump cards? Yin Yuanming frowned and raised his head to look at Qin Feiyang. He was stunned. Although Qin Feiyang was covered in blood and his face was as pale as paper, he did not show the slightest bit of nervousness or fear in the face of the battle arts and battle souls. His eyes were filled with a deathly stillness. Until now, he was still so confident. It seemed like this little guy really had something to rely on. In the blink of an eye, the battle souls and battle arts had arrived in front of Qin Feiyang. At this moment, almost no one believed that he could turn the tables and turn the situation around. The servants and disciples of the Liu family, including the old woman in black, were all smiling brightly. This time, they would definitely send this little bastard to hell. Moreover, as long as Qin Feiyang died, the Liu family's current predicament would be resolved. At that time, the Zhenbao Pavilion would definitely beg them for help. But just as they were indulging in their fantasies, Qin Feiyang made another move. He put away the Chang Shui and stepped into the void. After stabilizing his body, he stretched out his hands and golden light burst out from his palms. A shocking scene appeared. The battle arts and battle souls stopped in the void in front of Qin Feiyang and were in a stalemate with Qin Feiyang. How could this be? The old woman in black and the others were shocked. Puff! At the same time, Qin Feiyang's body shook, and blood spurted out from his mouth. His 2 arms were lacerated, and blood and flesh splattered everywhere. The heart-wrenching pain caused his veins to bulge and his face to become distorted. Although the return formula was extremely powerful, there was a limit to it. Now, the combined attack of dozens of people from the Liu family was far beyond what he could withstand. However, at this moment, he could not fail or give up. Because once he gave up, the battle arts and battle souls in front of him could instantly tear him into pieces and destroy him. Crack! The bones in his arms began to break. So what if you can block it? You'll still die in the end. The dozens of people from the Liu family sneered. Little Qin Zi, Wolf King shouted anxiously and his eyes were filled with worry. The Grand Elder and the other two seized the opportunity and punched the Wolf King. Roar! It released an anguished howl, and like a meteor, it shot into the heavens, dyeing the sky red with blood. Qin Feiyang raised his head and looked at Wolf King. The murderous aura in his body suddenly burst out. At this moment, it was as if he was possessed by a demon. His entire body was surrounded by blood-red murderous aura. The Liu family, I'll destroy you bit by bit. I'll make you disappear from the city. His face was ferocious and hysterical. The word return appeared on his palm. Crack! Boom! In an instant, the battle souls and battle arts in front of him suddenly turned in the air and rolled toward the old woman in black and the others. At the same time, both of his hands were also shattered into pieces. However, he seemed to be unable to feel the pain. With a thought, a regeneration pill and a healing pill appeared out of thin air and he swallowed them. Then, Chapter 436. How could this be? How could the battle arts and fighting souls be reflected back? What did Qin Feiyang do just now? Seeing this scene, the people who were watching the battle from afar all glared at the scene. I heard that the same thing happened when he fought with Dong Qing. Could this be a battle art? Yin Yuanming was surprised. Is there such a battle art in this world? The lady in purple whispered. Everyone in the Liu family turned pale with fright. How could it be reflected back? They all felt like they were dreaming. Old Four, get out of the way. The three elders who were not far away saw the black-clothed old woman and the others and were shocked by the sudden scene. They quickly shouted. But it was too late. The battle arts and fighting souls swarmed and drowned the group of people. Immediately, screams resounded through the sky. 25 star combat emperors were torn into pieces in an instant. 15 6-star combat emperors wanted to escape, but the fighting souls and battle arts were too fierce and unstoppable. In less than 3 breaths, their blood was splattered all over the place. The black-clothed old woman and 11 7-star combat emperors escaped. This was because their strength and speed were one level higher than the 5 and 6-star combat emperors. But even though they managed to escape, they were still severely injured. The 11 7-star combat emperors were beyond recognition. They were covered in blood and their eyes, which were full of vigor, were now filled with weakness. A few of them even had their arms crushed and blood gushed out. At this moment, they were like arrows at the end of their flight. The black-clothed old woman and the other 6 were slightly better, but they were also covered with cuts and bruises and were on the verge of death. The people who were watching from afar were dumbfounded. Originally, they thought that Qin Feiyang would definitely die. But they never expected that Qin Feiyang could turn the situation around with just one move. And it also caused a huge loss to the Liu family. One must know. The 5 and 6-star combat emperors were the mainstays of the Liu family. Now that they were all dead, it was an irreparable wound to the Liu family. Damned beast! I swear that I will tear you into pieces. Die! The eyes of the Grand Elder, the Second Elder, and the Patriarch of the Liu clan all turned blood-red. They roared at the same time and raised their hands to point at the air. 3 streams of battle chi streaked across the sky and shot towards Qin Feiyang. Roar! But at this moment, Wolf King descended from the sky and stood behind Qin Feiyang. His millstone-sized eyes emitted a terrifying and ominous glint. You are the ones who will die. The 2 ribs crushed the 3 battle chis, causing them to crumble. Following closely, Wolf King used the void evasion step and charged towards the 3 of them furiously like a ferocious beast descending into the world. Its murderous intent was the same as Qin Feiyang's. It had been completely aroused. In the meantime, Qin Feiyang also charged towards the black-clothed old woman and the others. His cold face was like an emotionless death god. The old woman in black stared at Qin Feiyang and said to the 11 7-stars battle emperors behind her in a deep voice, "All of you, go and heal your wounds." Swoosh! The 11 of them did not hesitate and immediately rushed towards the back. Because now, they could no longer be of any help. Staying behind would be equivalent to courting death. Qin Feiyang glanced at the 11 of them and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Then, he looked at the old woman in black and said indifferently, "I want to thank all of you. If it wasn't for your help, I wouldn't have been able to wipe out the Liu family. These 7 people were the most powerful. The lethality of their battle arts and battle souls was naturally more shocking. The 25 stars battle emperors and 15 6-stars battle emperors that died were basically killed by the battle souls and battle arts of these 7 people. In other words, it was these 7 people who killed 35 of their family members with their own hands." Hearing Qin Feiyang's words, the old woman in black and the other 6 people's faces suddenly became ferocious. "Bastard! I will tear you apart and cut you into 8 pieces." The 7 of them were in a frenzy. They activated their battle souls and performed their battle arts. Once again, they charged towards Qin Feiyang. "Is that so? You will regret it soon." Qin Feiyang smiled coldly. A fire lotus rose into the sky. It was his fire lotus battle soul. However, the fire lotus only had 2 fire lotus leaves at the moment. Although the power of the fire lotus leaf's explosion was terrifying, it had a flaw that required a certain amount of time to repair. Every day, it could only repair 1 fire lotus leaf. Not long ago, when he was fighting with Wu Yan and the others in the inner palace, Qin Feiyang had detonated 7 fire lotus leaves. Now, there were only 2 fire lotus leaves left. Swoosh! With a thought, the 2 fire lotus leaves fell off and flew towards the 7 battle souls and battle arts. They were about to collide. But suddenly, the 2 fire lotus leaves rose into the sky and avoided the battle souls and battle arts. They whizzed past the 7 people's heads and continued to shoot towards the back. That's right. Qin Feiyang's target was not the 7 people in black, but the 11 7-star combat emperors who had retreated to the back to recuperate. This sudden turn of events caused the 7 of them to be stunned. But then, they saw through Qin Feiyang's intention. They quickly turned around and shouted at the 11 people, "His target is all of you. Run! All of us?" The 11 people were shocked and quickly fled in fear. "Don't you think it's a little too late to escape now?" The corner of Qin Feiyang's mouth lifted. He pursed his lips into a cold smile and shouted, "Explode!" Boom! The 2 fire lotus leaves exploded at the same time, giving birth to a destructive aura that drowned the 11 people in an instant. Ah! Blood-curdling screams suddenly sounded and spread in all directions. At the same time, the 7 battle souls and battle arts of the 7 people in black also arrived in front of Qin Feiyang. But this time, he didn't face them head-on. He chose to dodge. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared without a trace. The battle arts and battle souls of the 7 people in black hit nothing. But the 11 7-star combat emperors of the Lu family were already at the end of their rope. How could they withstand the attack of the fire lotus leaves? Not a single one of them survived. All of them died. The mutilated corpses fell to the ground. Looking at the 11 corpses, the crowd in the distance was dumbfounded. The Lu family had suffered a great loss. One should know that every combat emperor required a large amount of resources and a large amount of time to nurture them. The Lu family had been in the city for so many years, but they had only cultivated 11 7-star combat emperors. But all of them were gone in an instant. Everything they had done before was in vain. To the Lu family, this could be said to be a disaster. The 7 people in black were also stunned. It was as if they couldn't accept this cruel fact and couldn't come back to their senses for a long time. The 3 people in black were also in a daze. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Good job. Wolf King turned around and looked at the corpses. He was very happy. But the battle was not over yet. Swoosh. He turned around and looked at the 3 people in black. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. Previously, the 3 of them attacked him while he was distracted. Now, he was going to let them have a taste of their own medicine. He used the air escape step and landed in front of the 3 people. Then, he smashed 2 of his ribs at them. Patriarch Lu and the other 2 people in black were shocked. They regained their senses and immediately started to run. But they were too late. Bang! 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 The ribs were hard and hard to break. When they were smashed, they screamed and fell to the ground. I won't give you a chance to turn the tables. Wolf King sneered and swooped down. At this moment, Qin Feiyang appeared out of thin air again. His shattered arm had been repaired. He looked down at Wolf King and shouted, "Kill them. You don't need to tell me. I know." Wolf King's eyes were filled with murderous intent. "Bastard, I'll kill you." At the same time, the black-clothed old woman and the others roared as they charged towards Qin Feiyang, their hearts filled with anger. They had lost their minds. There was only one thought in their minds. Kill Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang looked up at the 7 of them. His gaze was grim. Although the 7 of them were heavily injured, they had 8 Star War souls. With the help of their battle techniques and battle souls, he was far from a match for them. Most importantly, there was not a single 9-leaf fire lotus left. The Scarlet Sword Chi had also been depleted. Now, his only trump cards were the Chang Shui, the Return Formula, and the Purple Gold Dragon Soul. The Purple Gold Dragon Soul was definitely not activated. Once it was activated, it would alarm the Mansion Master. The Mansion Master would definitely start to suspect something. Therefore, he could only use the Chang Shui and the Return Formula now. Whoosh! Golden light shone from his left palm. He held the Chang Shui tightly in his right hand. With these 2 trump cards, he was not afraid of a battle. Boom! However, at this moment, a terrifying aura descended. Qin Feiyang's gaze trembled. This was the aura of a battle master. There was no doubt. Old Monster Lu was here. He looked in the direction and immediately saw a fiery red voice piercing through the air. It was a white-haired old man. He wore a bright red robe and looked hale and hearty. Who else could it be but Old Monster Lu? However, at this moment, his old face was filled with anger, and his entire body was filled with killing intent. You're courting death. He glanced at Qin Feiyang and the Wolf King. His old hand pointed in the air, and 2 waves of battle chi shot toward the man and the wolf respectively. His killing intent was bone-chilling. Qin Feiyang shouted, "White-eyed wolf, come here. Why did you have to come now of all times?" The Wolf King was a little annoyed. This was because if it had a little more time, it would have finished off the Lu family's patriarch and the other two. Damn it, I can't work for nothing. It gritted its teeth and continued to charge toward the three of them. Just as it was about to close in, the two ribs on its claws were like two daggers that suddenly stabbed into the first and second elders' sea of chi. Ah! The two of them immediately screamed in pain. Seeing this scene, everyone froze. Everyone thought that when old monster Lu came, ruffian wolf would stop. Even Yin Yuanming and the purple-clothed woman thought so. But they didn't expect that it would actually try to kill the two elders. Did this guy not want to live anymore? This bastard. Qin Feiyang was also a little stunned, but he was the first to regain his senses. After cursing in his heart, he swooped down towards the Wolf King like lightning. Wolf King pulled out two ribs, and was also prepared to get rid of the Lu family's patriarch. At this moment, old monster Lu also came back to his senses. Bastard, you really deserve to die. Immediately. With a furious roar, the pressure of the War Master roared out, enveloping dozens of li of land. In an instant, Qin Feiyang and the Wolf King were imprisoned in the air. As for the two streams of battle chi that shot out, they were firmly locked onto the man and the wolf. Little Qin Zi, what should we do? The Wolf King anxiously roared. How would I know? Just wait for death. Qin Feiyang was incomparably furious. The pressure of the War Master was not something that the War Emperor could compare to. Chapter 437. You're dead meat. The black-clothed old woman and her group of 7 glanced coldly at Qin Feiyang and began to retreat. Patriarch Lu also retreated with the Grand Elder and the other two. Because old monster Lu was too strong. If they were to approach Qin Feiyang and Wolf King, they would definitely be implicated. Pavilion Master, it's your turn. Yin Yuanming turned to look at the purple-clothed woman. Right now, only the Pavilion Master could save Qin Feiyang and Wolf King. To be exact, it was Wolf King. Because Qin Feiyang could hide in the castle at any time, he was not afraid of old monster Dong at all. The purple-clothed woman glanced at old monster Lu and took a step forward. But at this moment, a cold voice sounded. So many people against a child, does your Lu family still know what shame is? Before he could finish his words, a man and a woman descended from the sky. It was Lu Yun, Yan Nanshan. Lu Yun's aura was even stronger than before. Obviously, she had already consumed the 9-chew yellow dragon pill. Before entering the inner hall, Qin Feiyang had given her 6 pills, 3 potential pills, 2 potential pills, and 1 9-chew yellow dragon pill. Although Lu Yun was a 9-star war emperor and the 9-chew yellow dragon pill could not allow her to directly step into the War Master, it could help her break through the bottleneck. Just like Yan Nanshan back then, he only needed to cultivate for a few more hours and he would be able to easily enter the War Master. And now, the aura she exuded was that of a 1-star War Master. Looks like I don't need to do anything. The purple-clothed woman muttered, glancing at Yan Nanshan and Lu Yun. She immediately retracted her steps. Qin Feiyang was also overjoyed, and shouted, Uncle Yan, Elder Lu, don't worry about me, quickly go and help the white-eyed wolf. Hearing this, the two of them immediately flew towards Wolf King. Break for me. At the same time, Qin Feiyang roared, his teeth bared and the veins all over his body bulged. With a loud bang, he finally broke free from the shackles and disappeared in the next moment. Bastard! He actually let him run away again. The black-clothed old woman and the others were furious. Swish! Lu Yun and Yan Nanshan were also standing in front of Wolf King. Lu Yun looked at the incoming battle chi and whispered, Old monster Lu is a 2-star combat grandmaster. He can't be underestimated. Understood. Yan Nanshan nodded. Boom! The two of them waved their hands and formed two great battle arts, which blasted toward the battle chi. With a loud bang, the battle chi was instantly annihilated. Old Monster Lu frowned. Next. With a thought, the battle chi that was originally shooting towards Qin Feiyang suddenly changed direction and shot towards Wolf King from behind. Looks like he won't give up until he kills Wolf King. Yan Nanshan and Lu Yun's eyes turned cold. At the same time, he waved his hand, and the two battle arts rotated in the air before hurtling toward the battle chi. Boom! His battle chi collapsed again. Old Monster Lu frowned and looked at Lu Yun. When did you break through to become a one-star battle ancestor? What? Elder Lu has also broken through to War Master. With the addition of Yan Nanshan, Sacred Hall is even stronger now. The crowd in the distance discussed in low voices. The old woman in black and the others also looked at Lu Yun in surprise. Lu Yun swept his gaze across the seven of them, looked at Old Monster Lu, and said coldly, "This is my private matter, it has nothing to do with you. Also, if you dare to make a move again, then this elder can only take it that your Lu family is declaring war on my sacred hall." She added. Declaration of war? Old Monster Lu was instantly enraged, and shouted, "Don't you have eyes? It's clearly those two little bastards who are behaving atrociously in my Lu family." Shua. At this moment, Qin Feiyang appeared, and with a few flashes, he landed beside Yan Nanshan and Lu Yun. Wolf King also retracted his ribs, turned into the size of a palm, and landed on Qin Feiyang's shoulder. "Can't the two of you stop for a moment?" Yan Nanshan turned his head and glared at them. Qin Feiyang and Wolf King smiled embarrassedly. Yan Nanshan rolled his eyes and said expressionlessly, "Speak, what's going on?" "It's like this. We're here to challenge the Lu family," and the Lu family had agreed. But they couldn't beat the white-eyed wolf, so they got Steward Lu to sneak an attack on me. I definitely wouldn't sit still and wait for death. In the end, I accidentally killed Steward Lu. That's enough. We've stirred up a hornet's nest. Those shameless old fools from the Lu family immediately came up to kill me. I had no choice but to retaliate. Qin Feiyang shrugged helplessly. Lu Yun frowned and said, "Then why did you challenge them?" "I was just itching to spar with them, but who would have thought that they would be so despicable? This Lu family is really a huge disgrace to the state capital." Wolf King said indignantly. "They are indeed despicable." Lu Yun scoffed and looked up at the Lu family's patriarch. He asked, "You heard it too, right? Do you think there's a need to pursue this matter?" Old Monster Lu's face sank as he looked at the Lu family head and shouted, "Is that true?" The Lu family head stammered. Qin Feiyang said indifferently, "Lu family head, there are many people around who witnessed the entire process. Don't lie through your teeth." "Shut up." The Lu family head roared, his gaze extremely sinister. Old Monster Lu glanced at the crowd in the distance and lowered his head to look coldly at the Lu family head. He shouted, "Answer me." The Lu family head's body trembled as he nodded and said, "Patriarch, that's indeed the case. Don't you have a brain? If they wanted to challenge you, wouldn't you reject them?" Old Monster Lu flew into a rage. The Lu family head hurriedly said, "They said that as long as we win, they will remove the ban on Precious Treasure Pavilion." Stupid. Don't you know who they are? Why would they be so kind? It's fine if they lost, but they actually got the steward to sneak an attack on him. They even ganged up on him. Aren't you humiliating our Lu family by doing this? How can our Lu family establish itself in the state capital in the future? You really have a pig's brain. Old Monster Lu glared at the Lu family head, so angry that his body was trembling. "I was wrong." The Lu family head lowered his head, his face also full of regret. Qin Feiyang said, I say, can you give me the bet first, then slowly teach him a lesson? Bet? Old Monster Lu was stunned and frowned. What bet? All the savings of your Lu family. This is what the Lu family head personally agreed to. Don't try to go back on your word. Qin Feiyang said indifferently. What? Old Monster Lu's eyes widened in anger. Yan Nanshan and Lu Yun were also extremely shocked. The Lu family was now banned by Precious Treasure Pavilion. If they lost their savings, they would be dead. He actually dared to make such a huge bet? Was this Lu family head an idiot? Old Monster Lu suddenly looked at the Lu family head and said, Tell me, this is not true. Patriarch, the Lu family head lowered his head, not daring to speak, nor did he dare to look at Old Monster Lu's eyes. Why would I leave the Lu family to an idiot like you to manage? Old Monster Lu cried out in grief. Puff! Immediately, he spat out a mouthful of blood. His expression also became haggard. In an instant, Old Monster Lu seemed to have changed into a different person. The black-clothed old woman said, Patriarch, although we agreed, he killed so many of our clansmen. It should be enough to offset it, right? Do you still have any shame? I killed them because you guys made the first move. Don't tell me I'll just stand here and let you guys kill me. If you still think you haven't lost enough face, then continue. Qin Feiyang smiled obsequiously. The black-clothed old woman was furious to the extreme and roared, Little bastard, if you have the guts, fight me one-on-one to the death. To be honest, I'm not afraid of you. Qin Feiyang glanced at her from the corner of his eyes filled with disdain. Then come. The black-clothed old woman took a step forward, her entire body filled with hostility. Enough. My old face has been completely lost by you guys. If you're willing to bet, you're willing to admit defeat. Immediately take out all your savings and give it to them. Old Monster Lu roared. Patriarch, the Lu family head, the black-clothed old woman, and the other 7 people, as well as the servants and disciples of the Lu family below, all changed their expressions. I don't want to say it a second time. Old Monster Lu said word by word. Obviously, he was on the verge of exploding. The Lu family head's body and mind trembled. He hurriedly brought the Grand Elder and Second Elder and flew to the black-clothed old woman and the other 7 people. After handing over the Grand Elder and Second Elder to the 7 people, they dived down to the main hall below. Qin Feiyang said in a low voice, Uncle Yen, I'll have to trouble you to make a trip here, in case he hides something. Okay. Yan Nanshan nodded and turned into a ray of light, chasing after the Lu family head. Qin Feiyang turned his head to look at the Grand Elder and Second Elder. Both of them were unconscious and their lower abdomens were still bleeding. White-eyed wolf, did you destroy their qi? Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice to Yan Nanshan. 100%. Wolf King said. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. 2 9-star combat emperors were crippled. 11 7-star combat emperors, 15 6-star combat emperors, and 25-star combat emperors were killed. He even obtained all of the Lu family's savings. It could be considered a successful bloodbath. He glanced at the black-clothed old woman and the others and whispered, Elder Lu, can you help me check if the Lu family's 3rd elder is present? Why? You still want to kill him? Lu Yun raised his eyebrows. With Old Monster Lu around, how would I dare? Qin Feiyang smiled bitterly. I don't think there's anything you don't dare to do. Lu Yun rolled his eyes and sighed. To be honest, I'm very worried that one day, you will become the enemy of the entire world. There's no need to worry. Even if we exterminate the Lu family, no one will dare to do anything to us. Wolf King chuckled. Huh? Lu Yun was stunned and said in surprise, You're that confident? Wolf King said proudly, Of course, we have someone backing us. Someone is backing us. Lu Yun's body trembled and asked, who is it? It's, seeing that Wolf King was getting carried away and was about to spill the beans, Qin Feiyang hurriedly coughed dryly and glared at it. Lu Yun looked at the man and Wolf suspiciously. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, Elder Lu, don't listen to its nonsense. Help me check if the third elder is present. Is it nonsense? Lu Yun muttered inwardly. He glanced at the black-clothed old woman and the others before lowering his head to scan the huge Lu family. Gradually, a hint of bewilderment appeared in her eyes. What's wrong? Qin Feiyang asked in a low voice. Strange, such a big thing happened. Even old monster Lu was alarmed. Why didn't the third elder appear? Lu Yun frowned. Hearing this, Qin Feiyang and Wolf King looked at each other as a cold glint flashed across their eyes. That's right. Chapter 438. Wolf King transmitted his voice, Little Qin Zi, can we eliminate the Lu family now? Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded. But after some thought, he said, wait, there's something I'm puzzled about. What is it? Wolf King asked. When I saw the first and second elders activate their war souls, I suddenly thought of a problem. A person's appearance can be changed, but their war soul is absolutely impossible to change. Qin Feiyang said. That's right. Wolf King nodded. Qin Feiyang said, I remember that when Shiming fought with you in the martial arts practice field, he activated his fighting soul, right? Wolf King transmitted his voice, yes, his war soul was taken by me. If this Shiming is really the third elder in disguise, why didn't Lu Yun recognize him when he activated his war soul? Qin Feiyang said. Yes, why? It's so strange. Wolf King was bewildered. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed as he turned to Lu Yun and said, Elder, have you seen Shiming's war soul before the temple's grand tournament? Lu Yun was stunned, not knowing why Qin Feiyang suddenly asked such a question, but he answered truthfully, I've been with him for so many years, so of course I've seen it. It's a leopard-shaped beast. Qin Feiyang asked, have you seen the war soul of the third elder? The war soul of the third elder? Lu Yun pondered for a moment and shook his head, no, because I don't have much interaction with the Lu family, and the third elder rarely appears. Qin Feiyang nodded. Whoosh! At this moment, Yan Nanshan flew over, took out a Qianquan bag from his bosom, and handed it to Qin Feiyang. Thank you, Uncle Yan. Qin Feiyang took it and said with a smile. Why are you being so polite with me? Yan Nanshan rolled his eyes. He looked up at Old Monster Lu and said, Can we go now? Old Monster Lu said, Go ahead. Yan Nanshan retracted his gaze and whispered, Feiyang, hurry up and return to the inner hall, lest the Lu clan finds trouble with you again. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, I have to go to the Saint Palace and borrow the alchemy room. Lu Yun asked in puzzlement, Isn't there an alchemy room in the inner sanctum? Qin Feiyang said, Let's go to the Holy Palace first. All right. Lu Yun looked at him helplessly and opened a teleportation door. The four of them quickly left. Ancestor, what should we do now? Patriarch Lu, the old woman in black, and the others immediately flew over to eccentric Lu and looked at him with pleading eyes. You still have the face to ask me? Old Monster Lu glared at them angrily. The 8 of them lowered their heads. Alas! Old Monster Lu let out a long sigh and asked, How's the situation with the first and second elders? They are only unconscious now, but their sea of qi is broken. When they wake up, they will be crippled. The old woman in black said sorrowfully. That damned beast. I will kill it sooner or later. Old Monster Lu's face was as dark as water. Intense killing intent surged in his eyes. There will be a chance to eliminate Qin Feiyang and Ruffian Wolf at any time. The most important thing now is to solve the problem of resources. If we don't solve it in time, I'm afraid our Lu family will be in chaos soon. A white-haired old man said worriedly. Old Monster Lu nodded and took a deep breath. I'll go to the Manor Lord and see if he can get Lu Xingchen and Ren Wushuang married as soon as possible. Before that, you have to appease the people. Patriarch Lu and the others nodded. As long as Lu Xingchen and Ren Wushuang married, Precious Treasure Pavilion would no longer dare to ban the Lu family. The Holy Palace. Qin Feiyang and the others appeared in the sky above the square outside the Pill Fire Hall. Isn't that senior brother Qin? Why is he back again? As soon as the disciples in the square saw Qin Feiyang's appearance, they revealed a suspicious expression. High in the sky. Lu Yun looked at Qin Feiyang and said, "Can you tell me now? I promised Yin Yuanming that he would give us pills with 2 patterns every month. The inner hall has a 4th grade pill fire. The pills refined have 3 patterns. I don't want anyone to know that I can refine pills with 3 patterns, so I can only come to the Holy Palace." Qin Feiyang smiled. Lu Yun said in realization, "So that's how it is." Qin Feiyang sized up Lu Yun and asked, "Elder, have you consumed the potential pills and potential pills?" "Yes. After sending you to the inner hall, I immediately came to find Yan Nanshan. It was also Yan Nanshan who helped me open the door of potential. In short, I have to thank you properly." Lu Yun smiled. Qin Feiyang shook his head and said, "You have helped me so many times. I should be the one thanking you. Alright, don't stand on ceremony. If you have any difficulties in the future, send me a message. Although I might not dote on you like Yan Nanshan, at least I won't leave you in the lurch." Lu Yun said. Yan Nanshan rubbed his nose and asked, "Did I dote on him?" Lu Yun said indifferently, "You know very well whether you did or not." Yan Nanshan couldn't help but shake his head and laugh. After chatting for a while, Yan Nanshan and Lu Yun left. Qin Feiyang also landed on the square. After greeting Elder Di and Lu Yun, he entered the Pill Fire Hall. Soon, he arrived at the door of Alchemy Room 2. But at this moment, the stone door of Alchemy Room 1 opened and a white-robed man walked out. Qin Feiyang and Wolf King looked at each other. Why was it Xiaofan? But after thinking about it for a while, he felt relieved. Qin Feiyang and Murong Jing had both gone to the inner hall. Lu Ziyuan and Dong Cheng were also dead. Now, Xiaofang's talent was the best. And with Xiaofang's flamboyant personality, he would definitely occupy Alchemy Room 1 immediately after Murong Jing left. Seeing Qin Feiyang suddenly appear, Xiaofang was a little stunned. When he came back to his senses, he asked nervously, "Why are you back?" Qin Feiyang said indifferently, "Don't worry, I'm not here to snatch your alchemy room. I just want to borrow your alchemy room." "Borrow?" Xiaofang frowned. Qin Feiyang said, "Why do you look like you don't welcome me?" Xiaofang's pupils constricted. He hurriedly retreated to the side and said with a smile, "Welcome, of course you're welcome. You can use it for as long as you want. Please come in." What a joke. Would he dare to refuse if this fierce man wanted to borrow his alchemy room? He didn't want to follow in Lu Ziyuan and Dong Cheng's footsteps. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly, turned around, and strode in. This was his first time entering Alchemy Room 1. In fact, it wasn't much different from Alchemy Room 2. It was just slightly bigger. After looking around casually, Qin Feiyang walked into the alchemy room and took out the Grade 3 alchemy furnace, the 9-yang cauldron. Xiaofang stood outside the alchemy room and said, "I just received news that you and Wolf King had a great show of power in the Lu family. Is that true?" Qin Feiyang smiled without turning his head, "You're quite well informed." Xiaofang's gaze trembled. How could this man and wolf be so bold? Suddenly, a glint flashed across his eyes. What kind of elixir was Qin Feiyang preparing to refine? Could it be the potential elixir? If it was really the potential elixir, then he couldn't miss this good opportunity. Even if he couldn't learn it, he would know what kind of herbs were used to refine the potential elixir. As long as he knew these herbs, with his Xiao family's financial resources, he would be able to take all the herbs in the entire spiritual state. At that time, when Qin Feiyang needed herbs, wouldn't he have to beg him? The idea was beautiful. But would Qin Feiyang give him this opportunity? Of course not. Qin Feiyang said, "When I'm refining pills, I don't like outsiders around. Can you leave for a while?" Huh? Xiaofan was slightly stunned and immediately became annoyed. "This is my alchemy room, okay? Is it yours?" Wolf King turned around and looked at him unkindly. "Isn't it?" Xiaofan frowned. "Think about it carefully. Is it really yours?" Wolf King's eyes became more and more unfriendly. Xiaofan's brows furrowed tighter and tighter, but suddenly, he shuddered and hurriedly said, "No, no, no, it's yours. It's yours. I'll go out immediately." After saying that, he left the alchemy room with a belly full of unwillingness. At the same time, in his heart, a thick anger surged out uncontrollably. Not only did he occupy the alchemy room, he even threatened him. Did he really think he was the boss? Just wait, he would get his revenge sooner or later. After a while, Qin Feiyang walked out and said with a smile, "Thank you." Xiaofan immediately piled up a smile on his face and waved his hand, "You're welcome. If you need it again next time, just come directly. There will definitely be a next time." Qin Feiyang smiled, opened a portal, and walked in with Wolf King. "Fuck. Can't you tell that I'm just being polite? Bastard, you can continue to be arrogant. I'll see how long you can be arrogant." As soon as the portal dissipated, Xiaofan immediately jumped up and cursed angrily. Treasure Pavilion. Qin Feiyang appeared in the lounge and immediately saw Yin Yuanming sitting calmly beside the tea table. Moreover, it was as if he had already known that Qin Feiyang would come and had already brewed tea. Yin Yuanming chuckled and said, "My big gold lord, you're finally here. Please take a seat." Qin Feiyang sat opposite Yin Yuanming. Looking at the teacup on the tea table, his face twitched. This old fellow was indeed very shrewd. Without any nonsense, he directly took out a jade box and threw it to Yin Yuanming. Yin Yuanming opened it and saw that there were only 3 pills inside. 2 red fire-colored glass pills, 1 potential pill. He was stunned, looked up at Qin Feiyang, and asked, "I've been waiting for you for a long time, and this is all you give me? Too little. Then give it back to me." Qin Feiyang reached out to snatch it back. Don't. Yin Yuanming hurriedly put it away and said with a smile, "What I mean is, pills like Battle Chi pill and Regeneration pill, can you also refine some for me? I don't have time now. We'll talk about it later. I want to ask you something." Qin Feiyang said. "What is it?" Yin Yuanming was puzzled. Qin Feiyang said, "Do you know what the battle soul of the 3 elders of the Lu family is?" He didn't want to drop the ball at a critical moment, so this matter had to be investigated clearly. Yin Yuanming thought for a moment and shook his head. "I've never seen it before. Is it important?" "If it's important, I'll help you ask around." "It's very important." Qin Feiyang nodded. Yin Yuanming was stunned and said, "What's so important about a battle soul? I really don't know what you're thinking all day long." Qin Feiyang said with a smile, "Just help me ask around, the sooner the better." "Okay." Yin Yuanming nodded, and his old eyes flashed. "Do you still have the Juku yellow dragon pill you gave me last time? What do you want to do?" Qin Feiyang frowned. If this thing is auctioned, it will definitely be sold at an unprecedented price, creating an unsurpassable legend. Yin Yuanming's eyes lit up. Swish! Qin Feiyang directly got up, opened a portal, and said, "Get rid of this idea as soon as possible."